All for money, all for pride. Everything's on the table at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It is a Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Dash for the cash here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Late models will take on this historic hometown favorite, mile and a half, and a full field of drivers will take the call. 36 drivers scheduled to take the call. 34 have already taken practice time out here on the field. It's going to make one very, very entertaining night of racing here with Cora. Good evening, race fans. You're watching Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money coverage here live on ETVLIVE. Joe Cortez joined by Evan Pasocco. Evan, it should be a very fun night of racing. These late models are going to treat this mile and a half as if it were double that size, almost super speedway style for these late models.
And definitely had the opportunity to run some of the practice sessions that they had going
Evan
up earlier on in the week.
And as Evan gets his stuff plugged in here, he'll be in with us in just a moment. It will be 125 laps here around the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Again, the late models, with the late models, it's almost going to be like taking this track like a super speedway. These guys are going to be running all fixed setup, all the same exact setup. It should make for some very fun, very entertaining racing. 3 chances to qualify for these drivers throughout the week. Only the top 12 in each session make it to the Sunday Money, every Sunday showdown. And with every opportunity they get, every time, it makes it a little bit that much closer to walk away with a little bit of cash. So Dallas Miracle right now at the very top of the group, at the third turning around to 31.895. Outside of that, it's going to be Dale Smalley, Gary Bauer, Michael Churchba, all in the local group as well, on the top of the group as well. Evan Pasocco now getting stuff plugged in. Evan, we got to get some new interns here, buddy, to get all the stuff plugged in before the show.
And definitely, well, hey, good to come back for the Cora, obviously the Championship Online Racing Association. I'll tell you, it's going to be a pretty crazy race. I had the opportunity to run some of their practice sessions a couple weeks back when they were testing out this car and track setup. It's going to be fun. You mentioned almost a super speedway approach. They're almost going to be on the gas all the time. Your only reason you're going to get off is if that back end starts to step out. I was talking to some of the drivers here as the race was getting going here, as practice started to wind down. Varying strategies. Some drivers are going to be putting less fuel in it to get that spoiler higher up near. Completely different strategies, and I mean, it's going to be a great race, 125 laps. And if you look at the drivers that we have in here, you mentioned Dallas Miracle, Dale Smalley, some of the best are here tonight.
Some of the best who know how to run this track and know how to run these cars for everything they're worth, including setup guru Mark Montanari. He's going to start right now 5th on this field out here. So all these guys, so much experience in this group, all looking for money. It's going to be checkers or wreckers, and only a handful of guys are going to walk away with a little bit of cash for their efforts tonight.
And if you look at the payouts for this great setup that the Cora has, you win this race, you're going to go home with $50. Again, everybody here qualified in either the Monday, Wednesday, or Saturday night qualifying races, making it into tonight's race. Almost half of the drivers possibly going home with a purse tonight, going to the bank on Monday after winning the race on Sunday. Positions 1st through 8th have payouts. You also get prize money for being on the pole, the safety position, and they also draw a random number before they take the green flag, and if you finish in that position, you're going to go home with another $5 as well. So great organization going on here. Again, always on ETVLIVE Sunday nights. Alan Larson doing what he does, getting this series up and running so that it can be broadcasted to everybody here. So it should be another great race tonight.
Dallas Miracle right now at the top of the field. As we mentioned earlier, these guys, just started some laps right now during the happy hour session. It's a Dallas Miracle, Dale Smalley on the front row. So Dallas already has some guaranteed cash in his pocket, and for a fact that each of them want to walk away with something. Top 8, the random spot, the safety spot, and the pole all walk away with a little bit of cash for their efforts, which makes this season so exciting. There is a points factor, and Laura will be showing you the points in just a moment. But the south side of the points, I think what makes this particularly exciting, what makes this league, if you will, so exciting week after week, is no matter what, you got to look long-term for points. but no matter what, ultimately at the end of the night, you're looking for money.
And definitely, and after tonight's race, 3 races will remain until they meet their chase for the cup. Then that will be a 3-race shootout with the top drivers in the point standings, the top 12 that will try to get the Cora championship. And we do have our 2-time defending champion in tonight's race, Dale Smalley, out there looking to make it 3 for 3 in his number 69, trying to make that work. Right now, however, he is sitting second in the points to that other man on the front row, Dallas Miracle.
So now the times are starting to be complete right now. 33 drivers have all taken time during this qualifying session. Last one on the field right now is Colin Foreman in the 77 machine. One of the cool things about this league, Evan, that I don't think is talked about enough is every different week it's a different mod and a different track. This week you're seeing late models at Charlotte, so get ready for a super speedway style showdown between all these drivers in that late model. But 2 weeks from now, we're going to have the Indy cars at Watkins Glen. The administrator Alan Larson and I talking before the show, he said 2 weeks from now it's going to be a completely different style of racing, as they're going to get all these guys, all the qualifiers in the Indy cars. The Indy cars will be at Watkins Glen. So in 2 weeks, you're going from a very NASCAR style setup to an open wheel, open road style setup, to completely different styles of driving that each of these drivers have to master.
And then again, and if you look 1 week past that, you're racing Legends at South Boston for the Hurley Property Management 150. So just such diversity. And that's what really tests the drivers. I mean, some drivers, they can say that they dominate in a Gen 6 car. They can go in those leagues and they can dominate. But it takes a special kind of driver to come in here week in and week out and be able to constantly be competitive, be at the top of that leaderboard, and win this championship when the tracks and the cars are always changing.
With the cars always changing, with the styles always changing, it always makes for a new challenge every other week here with the Cora Sunday Money Series. And that's what makes this league so special and what makes it so much fun to watch week in, week out, over and over again. Evan, we only got 30 seconds. Very, very quickly, what are your thoughts going before we go to the race?
It's going to be really close racing. You mentioned full throttle super speedway style. I don't know. There could be some big wrecks. Again, I was talking to some drivers. That's what they're worried about, because none of these guys know each other. Sometimes it's not the same guys here week in and week out. So it's going to be able to find respect for yourself on the track and respecting other drivers. Lots of give and take.
Let's go ahead and get out trackside for the pre-race festivities. It's the Cactus Cuties with their rendition of this great nation's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The Cactus Cuties and the Virtual Thunderbirds with our national anthem and the virtual flyover tonight here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It will be 34 cars of the 36 qualifiers taking the call to action here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Let's go ahead and take you down. The starting lineup on the pole will be the 48 of Dallas Miracle, turning in a time of 31.895 seconds. On the outside of him, Dale Smalley in the 69 starts second. Row number 2 belongs to 07 of Gary Bauer. The 88 of Michael Churchma starts fourth. Row number 3 belongs to setup guru himself, Mark Montanari. He'll start from the 14th machine on the inside of row number 3. Doug Carlisle in the 01 will start 6th. Row number 4 belongs to TJ Graves. Outside of him, the 18 of Jay Anderson starts 8th. Garrett Atwell will start 9th in the number 404 machine, and the 06 of Daniel Miller will start on the outside of row number 5, Evan.
And definitely starting in that 11th position could be the number 17 of Gordon Berkey, another tough competitor in this series. In that 12th position, going to be the number 78 of Michael Johnson. In that 13th position, the 00 of James Brown starting 14th. The number 30 of Ross Cadeau starting in the 15th position. You're going to see the number 97 of Jake Griffin. And to his right-hand side is the 04 of Galen Gidman starting in the 16th spot. 17th is going to be the 31 of Martin Porter. 18th, the 35 of Nathan Sedlak. The number 1 of Everett D. Lane starting in the 19th position. And outside row number 10 is the 13 of Sean Bradley in 20th.
Marcus Babb in the 26 starts 21st. Travis Brown in the 33 starts 22nd. Ben Manning in the 67 starts 23rd. Joel Wood in the 79 24th. And Chuck Thompson in the 62 rounds out your top 25.
Starting 26th position is the number 7 of Carl Jones. Starting in the 27th position, the 9 of David Parks. Behind him on the outside, starting in the 28th starting position, it's the 80 of Jim Penagiola. 29th, the 61 of John Peninsula. 30th is the 90 of Mark McFadden.
Sal Accardi, James Wilkins, Colin Foreman, and Colton Berkey all electing to, or Colton Berkey, the only one electing to not take time out here. He will finish out the field of 34 tonight here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. 125 laps of late models getting ready to all do battle, all for pride, all for money, all for a whole lot of stuff to be had here at Charlotte Motor Speedway with the Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Series. And right now, the field is in the capable hands of Dallas Miracle. As soon as that pace car makes a hard left turn down pit road, it will be his field to lead. Pace car gets out of the way, and now it's Dallas Miracle waiting for him to start this field. Green flag flies, and he gets the jump. He will jump in front of the number 69 of Dale Smalley. We are racing side-by-side battle now for third as Gary Bauer in the 07 fighting off Michael Churchma in the 88. Churchma nowhere to go. High side, he's going to be forced to drop back into line.
Definitely the field trying to work its way through turns number 1 and 2, get into a position and try to get single file. But these cars are very racy, and we got a lot of antsy drivers going for that $50 that it is entitled for victory lane. 01 in the wall, Doug Carlisle, big wreck. Just did not turn going into turn number 3. More cars involved as the 01 is stalled down there on the bottom lane. Computer issues for the number 1, I hear, going into 3, just did not turn, and that's going to bring out our first caution of the night and a strange one.
Pace car now on the track, the 01 collecting, it looks like the 35 in that incident as well, and he's going to make contact with the number 19. The number 1 also getting a piece of that, the 13 getting a chunk of that as well, the 61 having some trouble. Lots of cars already out of contention early in the race tonight. That's going to hurt. You know, you definitely want to race hard and race competitively for that big payday at the end of the night, but you can't win the race on turn number 3 of lap number 1. It's 125 laps. You got to have a car and the mindset to go all the way out there tonight.
And definitely with that car down there on the bottom, it looks like the number 35 of Nathan Zedlak could not really see that far in front of him. Had a car up there. He was on that car's bumper, went down to the apron when he saw smoke. And the next thing he knew, the 01 there was stopped on the racetrack. He was collected, went up. Obviously, the 7th, the 13, the 33 getting damaged. Lots of other guys involved in that off of turn number 4. And a tough break for all of these guys who paid their way in to get here to try to take home the money at the end of the night. And their night's going to end short.
A lot of guys now doing a little begging and bargaining with each other, making sure that their cars are clean, that they're able to run out here. It's still a long way to go on this track. We've only scored one lap of 125, and a lot of guys starting to be concerned. All right, as a result of that big accident, where am I at? Am I going to be okay? And what's going to happen to me out there on this field? Am I going to be able to stay competitive? Remember, with the late models, Charlotte Motor Speedway acts more like a super speedway as opposed to a mile-and-a-half speedway out there for each of these cars. So with these runs that they're having, with the runs they're going to be doing, they're going to act like it's more of a super speedway challenge than it is a traditional mile and a half. And I don't believe we've seen these late models take on, in real life anyways, a big mile and a half track like Charlotte. So this is one of the advantages that sim racing can provide over the real world. You get to test out new and fun things that you wouldn't see imaginable. Indy cars on the Sprint Cup road course, why not? Late models on a mile and a half? Well, sure. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, your typical NASCAR racetrack, you got it's a 1.5-mile track asphalt, served with 4 turns, 24 degrees of banking. You don't normally see these kind of cars at a track like this, so it's interesting how they can piece this together. The lights are off on that Ford First Racing Mustang pace car, so we're going to be looking for the green flag this next time back. It still will be the 48 of Miracle and the 69 of Smalley making up that front row, and let's see if this wreck changes the mindset of any of the drivers trying to take it easy a long way till we get to that checkered flag 125 laps down the road. Obviously that incident was from a electrical problem and not from a driver error, but it probably does not ease the nerves, so to speak, of any of these guys who are riding around there mid-pack.
The nerves will not be eased, I can guarantee you that, and more importantly, the activities, the ideas, and how they're going to run. Maybe a little bit got a welcome, or not a welcome, but a wake-up call per se. But I don't think we're going to see a whole lot different. I think we're going to see a lot of competitors still working hard to keep in front, keep the car going the right direction, and keep themselves in contention for the payday here in the Cora Sunday Money Series. It will be Dallas Miracle and Dale Smalley on the front row, Gary Bauer, Michael Churchma in the second row, Mark Montanari, TJ Graves, your third row, Daniel Miller, Jay Anderson, your fourth row, and Mike Johnson and Ross Cato rounding out your top 10 as well out here. A lot of cars going behind the wall. Chuck Thompson is calling it a night. Everyone else can at least try it one more time as a pace car makes his way down pit road. Dallas Miracle once again restarts this field. We are green flag racing on lap number 5. 4 in the books. And Miracle once again continues his lead out there. Smalley right behind him. Now the battle is for that 5th position between the 88 of Churchma and the 14 of Montanari. Montanari just gets a better jump, and he's going to fall in line. Churchma might lose 2 positions.
Yeah, that 50 of TJ Graves working on that inside lane. They're door-to-door down the back straightaway. That inside line having the advantage. Had it last time by. Let's see what he can do. Now the 50 of Graves, you see they're wiggling a little bit, trying to get the handle on it. They can go full speed, so they're just trying to find the smoothest way around that corner. Over the 88 of Churchman, hanging tough for now. He loses a little bit of ground there. Almost gets clipped as the 50 of TJ Graves might be looking to make a move on that 14 of Montanari in front of him.
Montanari holds tough in that 4th position. TJ Graves behind him. And now here comes Daniel Miller in the 06 machine. Churchman nowhere to go. He's hanging it out high, and that's going to hurt him big time. Jay Anderson in the 18 now looking to follow that line all the way through the front. So Churchma, who started 4th. Oh, trouble in front of him. Trouble in front of Churchma. That is going to be, I believe, the 14 of Montanari. No, check that. It's the 06 of Daniel Miller. He just couldn't hold it through turns 3 and 4, gets into the wall, and now he's going to start falling like a rock in a pond through this field. Daniel Miller in the 06 machine. Big trouble for him.
Definitely just could not hang on to it, put up the racetrack after he tried to overcorrect it, and now there is a wreck on the racetrack. Caution flag will fly. Incident in turn number 1 with the 88. Probably somehow resulting from that incident after everybody scrambled to get out of the way. The 13 car is involved in it. That is Sean Bradley. He's also in the front wall after getting clipped by a white car. The 61 involved as well. So several incidents there after everybody tried to scramble out of the way, and when they got to turn number one, everyone just could not hold it. So this does bring out our second caution of the night right now, working lap number 8 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Under the lights here, more trouble mid-pack after the O2, or not the O2 rather, but an incident up front causes everybody back in the pack to try to make evasive maneuvers. And here one car was in the grass, and eventually by the time we got to turn 1, when that track thinned up, there was just no way for anybody to get through there, so that is going to put us under our second caution of the night. Miracle, your race leader, coming down pit road as everybody else stays out. So the 48 of Dallas Miracle down pit road. Interesting strategy here early in the going. Taking a look and seeing what Miracle is going to do. Again, an unprecedented pit stop compared to everybody else. Coming down into his stall. I don't think anybody else from a large margin. No, all the other leaders have stayed on the racetrack. So an interesting move here by Dallas Miracle, considering it looks like that back part of the pack seems to be the most dangerous at this point in comparison to riding up front, which is where he was, which was the safest. But he's coming down pit road to fill that thin up with fuel. He's going to go back out at the end of the lead lap. So under caution here at lap 9 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, it is the Cora Championship Online Racing Association live coverage on ETV Live. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back when we look for some more green flag racing.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 to the checkered flag. He wins his first NASCAR racing.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Welcome back, race fans, to ETV Live's coverage of Championship Online Racing Association's Sunday Money Series. Lights are still on the top of the pace car. They should be going off this time by. Right now is a lead change up front. The 69 of Dale Smalley will be credited as your leader. Lights are off. One more to go before we're back to green flag racing. Dale Smalley up front. It will be the 07 machine of Gary Bauer now finding his way in second. Mark Montanari third. TJ Graves fourth. Jay Anderson fifth. Michael Johnson, Jake Griffin, Garrett Outwell, Gordon Berkey, and James Brown rounding out your top 10. On the other drivers out there, Michael Churchma, despite the front end heavy damage on the nose, he will remain out there on the field. And a couple other guys have been involved in incidents all night, including Doug Carlisle, Chuck Thompson. They're all going to stay out here on the field. No retirees yet. which is always a good thing, but you got to wonder, with all that damage, are these guys going to be able to stay competitive?
Got to keep in mind, too, there is that random drawing for if you finish in a certain position, you could walk home with an extra $5. Nobody knows where that is, so there's no point of quitting if you're just going to go for broke and see what you can get. Definitely, obviously, before we went to the commercial break, race leader Dallas Miracle making a pit stop to take on fuel and tires. He's going to be restarting in the 22nd position, so let's see how Dale Smalley negotiates this restart, as he's been sitting shotgun everyone before this.
So it will be his field to go down to lead once we go back to green flag racing in just a moment. Pace car getting ready to make the hard left turn down pit road. Pace car is off. Now to 69 and Dale Smalley. What will he elect to do? How will he start this field? With a bang. Gets in front of the 07. We're back to green flag racing on lap number 11. Now scoring lap number 12. It's Dale Smalley out front. Gary Bauer in second. Now it's Montgomery picking up another position on the restart. TJ Graves in the 50. Forced to fall back to fourth. Behind him, the 18 and 78 doing battle. That's Jay Anderson on the inside. And Michael Johnson. Nowhere for him to go. He might start falling back like we saw Churchma do a few minutes ago.
Definitely trying to make it work that top side, not the preferred lane. The 18 of Anderson going to get around him, and now the 4 of Garrett Atwell working his way on the bottom. Caution flag will fly. An incident going on with the 42 car. This is going to bring out another caution. So far to this point, we hear the wreck may have been somewhere near the back of the field. I noted the 13 again, Sean F. Bradley, having a rough night involved in that as well. And looking to see what caused the incident. We heard the number 61 come over the radio and make a comment that was not going to work. Taking a look at the replay right now, things getting really bobbled up there into turn number 3, and a mess of cars in that one as well.
The 48 and 02, and once again, wrong place, wrong time. The 02 and 48 make contact. The 4202 goes flying into the wall as if it were shades of Talladega out there. Wilkins, he is heavy damage. He is done for the night. Joel Wood in the 79, he's going to have some problems. And then the car that I think was most disturbing out there was the 13 of Sean Bradley, as you saw him just getting caught on the inside wall there, coming off of turns, I believe that's 3 and 4 out there. 13 straight into the wall. He's caught up on it. He is done. So now we're going to start seeing retirees on this field, as these guys really have nothing else left in these cars. I said earlier in the race, or the beginning of the night's race, it was going to be either checkers or wreckers for these guys. So far, it might be more wreckers than checkers.
This is what some of the drivers were worried about. Obviously, not knowing each other, racing each other maybe a little bit harder. A very tight racetrack with loose race cars all the way on the gas throughout the circuit around the 1.5 mile speedway. That this could possibly be the outcome. However, that wreck there has pretty major chase or implications and championship implications when you look at the car that possibly could be dubbed as the cause of that incident, being the number 48 car of Dallas Miracle. Miracle coming into tonight as your points leader with a 12-point lead over Dale Smalley, the two-time defending champion of the Championship Online Racing Association. Miracle, remember, was up front, made a unprecedented pit stop under the caution, and then found himself right in the middle of the pack and ends up getting caught up in that wreck. So I'm sure he'll unfortunately be feeling second guesses about that call, but that's going to put him down there on pit road trying to get that car fixed back up.
A lot of guys are going to be trying to figure out what to do and scramble for a new strategy as a result of this of the shifting at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Dale Smalley, Gary Bauer, Mark Montanari right now your top 3, and still guys either coming down pit road or coming off pit road to try to fix all of it out here on the grid tonight. We've only had 14 laps, but 3 cautions in those 14 laps. So we're averaging about 5 laps. Plus or minus with a caution, 4 and some change, let's put it that way. So which is going to change and affect the strategy for each of these drivers throughout the race tonight.
And definitely, again, when I was talking to the drivers earlier tonight, lots of them were doing different things with the fuel. Obviously, these cars take a lot longer to fuel up than a NASCAR Gen 6 stock car. However, if we keep continuously under caution, that could possibly hurt those guys that only put a half a tank in there to try to give their car some sort of aero benefit depending on the setup and package that they have on that race car. So it can really throw a curveball into the entire way that this race is played. However, those guys up front, I mean, right now, first position looks like the only safest spot on the racetrack.
First position and almost the last position, seeming like the safe place to be on this track. Remember, Colton Berkey in the 81 machine elected not to take time. He started the very tail end of this field. Colton Berkey now finding his way up to the 14th position, almost caught up with his dad, Gordon Berkey, in the 17 machine. So we could be seeing a little Berkey tag team action working here later in the race, as 81 and 17 only separated by three positions.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting to see how they attack this race. Obviously, several cars have been involved right now after the 34 cars that started this race. 26 right now are being scored on the lead lap. The last car on the lead lap right now is being shown as the 04 of Galen Gidman coming down is on the apron. Lots of these drivers have damage on their cars. The lights are off on the pace car. Race officials telling the drivers not to double up as the wave arounds need to go around. That's going to be Chuck Thompson, the beneficiary from this caution. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with these guys here. It is the one to go. Lights are off on the pace car, so we're going to double them up and look to go green here. But lots of drivers with damage, drivers communicating, having the spotters up there on the spotter stand talk, drivers pointing out who has damage. So everybody trying to help each other out here early in the going.
Bad news for points leader Dallas Miracle. He will be given an end of longest line penalty tonight on this restart, so he's going to have to climb the ladder all the way back up front if he wants to make it work. But he does have more fuel. He's got fuel in his tank, and he's got newer tires than your leaders, so this could be, it may not be as long of a climb as we may think it to be. Nonetheless, that driver of that Dallas Miracle still going to be towards the back end of this field, still going to have a lot of cars to contend with tonight as we get ready to go green flag racing in just moments. Once again, it will be Dale Smalley's field to lead. There is Dale Smalley, Gary Bauer front row, Mark Montanari Graves behind him, Anderson Johnson behind them. Garrett Atwell, Jake Griffin, James Brown, Gordon Berkey, your top 10. Pace car makes the hard turn down pit road. Now it's Dale Smalley waiting for the signal, waiting for see what he wants. Green flag flies, and we are back to racing one more time. He's got the green flag, and no one's around him. The 07 now trying to make a big move, trying to get the move on the 14. 18 now, though, in trouble. 18 makes contact. 18 in the wall. And big junk behind them. The 18, the 33, the 9. I can't count how many cars are involved in this one. We're going to take another look at what that looks like. But the 18 machine, it all starts right around him. And that's where all the trouble happens. He gets a little push from the 4, or the 4 gets into him. Hard to say. That's going to collect a bunch of cars. The 17 gets a touch of that one. The several cars involved. The 08 gets a touch of that one. The 33, the 7 once again involved. The 9 makes contact with the 18 as a result. The 02, you saw him in the grass just a moment ago. You know, and I said tonight at the beginning of this race, you're going to see shades of Talladega. When I said we're going to see shades of Talladega, I figured it'd be more along the lines of super speedway racing and not the big one.
And that was a big one there in turn 1, and that incident a lot further up in the field than we have seen to this point in the race. Taking an eye on, I've been listening over the driver communications, hearing like the 18 of Jay Anderson may have missed a shift, because when you take a look at the replay there, obviously he didn't get loose or anything, just lost a little bit of speed with that 4, or the 4 with a different shifting point. Got a great run on that 18, but that just bumped the 18, and when the 18 tried to correct it, obviously going back up into the wall, and those were fast cars that were in the wall, and that just collected again at a track like Charlotte Motor Speedway, almost with self-cleaning banking. There's really not a lot of places to go to avoid a wreck, especially going into a corner or coming off of a corner. That's going to tear up a lot more very fast race cars, and it's a rough start here at the Cora 150 at Charlotte.
It's going to make for a rough start, and again, a very rough start. Set of laps for all of your top drivers. They came in here, I'm sure, with one strategy, with green flag pit strategies, and now all of that is going to be thrown out the window the more yellow flag laps we run out here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. These cars should be set up to stop maybe only once, twice if they really need it. But that being said, you don't want to stop twice. You want to make your one stop, get what you need. When we go back to green flag racing, we'll still have plus or minus 100 laps left to go. All these drivers cognizant of time out here, and time might be the biggest thing working against them.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, you take a look, 125 laps on the board, working lap number 19 with several cautions so far to this point. Dale Smalley, again, still your leader after qualifying in second. Again, that just furthermore proves that the safest point on this racetrack is that lead position right now. But rough guys, but there's still a lot of fast cars left, and they don't care if some sheet metal's bent up. They're going to race those things hard to the finish.
Now joining us in the booth, walking over from the officials booth, is Alan Larson, one of your administrators here at Cora. And Alan, this is not what the drivers want to see tonight, all these caution laps, and I'm sure it's what you guys in the booth didn't want to see as well.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is not what we wanted, but we'll get it straightened out here, and we'll get things under control, and hopefully things will get better.
Alan, I mean, we talked about this track. We talked about these late models acting more like more like a super speedway cars out here on this mile-and-a-half track, and how in these late models this track feels like it's almost double in distance. As a driver, how does that affect the strategy that you would normally take with a late model, and how do you have to adjust your driving around that?
You got to be really patient. I think patience here is the key, and a lot more than even on other tracks. The patience here, especially with the late model, these cars aren't used to being on a super speedway like this, and they get out of shape so easy. It all comes down to patience and paying attention to what you're doing. That last incident there, I heard through the grapevine, was somebody missed a shift. You got to be paying attention, and you got to keep stay on top of the game.
Real quick, Alan, I know you got a job to do. What's going to be the secret for the drivers that ultimately comes out at the top of this race? What's going to be the $64,000 secret to stay in front and win the Sunday money here at Charlotte?
Quite honestly, one word: luck.
Survival of the fittest, right? Very, very Darwin tonight. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's about it. You got to be lucky. You got to be good along with being lucky here at this track with these cars. But I really didn't expect what we're having tonight. But we've had some really good races in these cars here. Leading up to this tonight, I thought we were going to be able to hold it together, and I think we still can. I think once we start getting a good long run in, I think it'll go pretty good.
Alan Larson, your administrator here at Cora, I'm sure we'll be coming back to you later on in the race for your thoughts.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Always a pleasure. Come on over anytime you have a moment. That's Alan Larson, your administrator here at Cora, one of the staff members that makes it work for the Championship Online Racing Association. Lights are off on the pace car. Dale Smalley, Gary Bauer once again in front on the front row. It's TJ Graves, Michael Johnson behind them. Jake Griffin in fifth. Gordon Berkey now finds his way into sixth. James Brown, Martin Porter, Marcus Babb, and Colton Berkey round out your top 10. And the biggest surprise for me, Mark Montanari, who was running top 4, now going to be relegated to 19th.
How about Martin Porter, too, running in that 8th spot, qualified 17th. So good pickup for him, weaving his way through the troubles here early on in the going to get himself up into a good spot. But we're working our way off turn number 4. You mentioned the lights are off on that Ford First Racing Mustang pace car. There he goes to pit road, and it's Dale Smalley's race.
Dale Smalley looking for the green flag. He sees it. Green flag flies. Dale Smalley, the 69, now immediately under fire from the 07 of Gary Bauer. The 50 having trouble out there. That's TJ Graves. It looks like he's either missed a shift or he lost a gear out there. The 50, though, in trouble. Meanwhile, back up front, the 69 07 battling for the lead. 69 has the advantage. He will hold on to the lead on lap 22.
Yeah, it looked like on that restart there, Dale Smalley went to get in the gas, then backed out of it, and that's what caught that 50 of Graves off, obviously in that 3rd spot, trying to anticipate it so he could put up a battle for 2nd, and it really checked him up. Now up front, though, bumper to bumper, you got the 07 of Bauer just inches off the back bumper of the 69 of Smalley. Smalley's going to retain the lead after this lap. Let's look at a side-by-side battle for the 10th position. The 81 of Colton Berkey on the outside, trying to make his way around that number 39 to 39 in the preferred lane on the bottom, trying to make that work through 1 and 2.
And remember, Colton Berkey started at the very tail end of this field. He was the only driver electing not to take time, and you can see that strategy has paid off for him. Not involved in any of the incidents, not involved in anything that would cause him trouble. Now running cleanly in 10th. looking to pick up that position on the 39 machine of Marcus Babb. The 39, or check that 39 of Sal Accardi, trying to hold off Sal Accardi to keep that position. Colton Berkey running side by side with him, and you gotta wonder what's that doing to those tires underneath his car right now.
He's got to keep a little bit more eye on that too. You got to work the wheel a little bit harder when you're side by side. Now the 39 is going to make his way around him, so that's going to put the 81 of Berkey now back into the 11th position. Lots of battling going on all over the racetrack. Let's take a look right now at the 14th position. That's number 4 of Garrett Atwell on the inside of the 88 of Michael Tierney, and then he also got the number 1 of Everett Lane right in front of him. These guys have been going at it since we went back green. 61 behind them, that's John Pansela. He was in the grass that time for the trial, so these guys battling hard, all trying to pick up that 12th position.
Another guy used the grass to help his car turn out in the front on the front oval was Carl Jones. He's in the 7 machine. He's currently running 17th. Right behind him, the setup king himself, Mark Montanari in the 14 machine, trying to get around the 7 for position number 17. Both those cars have a reset, so both those cars back to their original running performance out there. The 7 and 14 now trying to figure out what they're going to do to keep out front. On pit road, though, are a couple cars, including the 33 of Travis Brown and the 13 machine of Sean Bradley. Those 2 cars, I think, are either getting damaged or waiting for a reset out there. Nonetheless, I'm going to keep an eye on what they do and how they keep it out there.
And definitely the way the reset works is if you even have some minor damage to come down pit road, you could lose your reset by the service for fixing that. So some drivers have to be conscious here when they want to pit, depending on how much fuel they have and how bad the damage is. However, we're bumper to bumper for the 13th spot. The number 1 of Everett Lane, has the number 4 of Garrett Atwell on his back bumper. That 4 has been literally knocking on that door for the past few laps. This time off of turn number 2. The 4 is going to get the run. He's going to try to do something with it. Takes a look to the high side, but is going to stay right behind him and give the 1 a little bit of a shot going into turn number 3.
You rode momentarily there on board with a 14 machine of Mark Montanari. Montanari still on that back bumper of the 90 machine of Mark McFadden. McFadden doing everything he can. He's got a little bit of bumper damage, though. The 14 of Montanari, he knows he can get around him, uses the grass to help him turn, but it's just a matter of biding his time and figuring out when. We saw a lot of incidents as a result of hard racing and impatience. Another incident might be brewing as you see James Brown, the 00 machine, in the wall out there. We'll have to find out what happened to him, but the ride I'm watching that was brewing was between the 88 of Michael Churchman and the 39 of Sal Accardi. They made contact side door to door on the back straightaway, and I guarantee you neither one of those drivers are happy with that contact. They might be doing a little bit of hard racing later on.
Yeah, definitely the 88 of Churchman had to make that work on the inside. 39 may have come down a little bit of contact, nothing that they couldn't handle. But don't worry, race car drivers, don't forget much as the races progress. I mean, we've seen racing side by side so far everywhere tonight. Again, we're still side by side. If you take a look at the 13th position, again, you got the 4 of Garrett Atwell on the outside of the 1 of Everett Lane. He's been trying to make that work for the last 3 or 4 laps or so. That inside line, obviously with the advantage. I mean, interesting to see what that 4 of Atwell can do as he's going to try to get that run off of turn number 4. And then there's the 39, not too far in front of him, being Sal Accardi right there. So let's see how this battle shakes up. And then you got the 61 also of John Pansela sitting in the wings, but still side by side with the 4 and 1 through turns 1 and 2.
The 1 and 4 still doing battle, able to keep it clean through 1 and 2. And here's something that entertains me real quick. You see the 4 and the 1 battling side by side. Immediately behind them is the 61. And guess who's keeping his distance from that battle? Aside from the 61, the 14 of Mark Montanari, currently sitting in 15th. He sees both those drivers going at it, and he wants nothing to do with it. I guarantee you what he's thinking in his car right now, I could work with those guys. But if one of those guys gets hurt, one of those guys messes up their car, I'm right in the line of fire, and I don't want anything to do with it. So he's going to keep his distance, it looks like, as the 4 and 39 now doing business. Mark Montanari in the 14, he's going to go up high, see if he can make the high line work for him. 4 just made the high line work in a big way, gets around the 1 and the 39. So score the 4 machine now in around the 11th position.
Yeah, now that 14 of Montanari is going to go to the outside of the 1 of Lane here by the stripe. He has the advantage. I don't know about that 39 though. Sal Accardi pushing up the racetrack. He started this race 31st, made a great charge up to the front, but it looks like his car is just not able to stick it there on the bottom. So it'll be interesting to see what happens if Montanari gets side by side with him. But Montanari now has the advantage on that 1 of Lane going into the corner. However, that's where that bottom lane gets the advantage. So it's going to be up to if that 14 can get the run off of turn number 4. The 1 is right there, but they are closing in on the 39. It's going to be interesting to see how they sort this out in turn 1, as they are on the back bumper of the 39. Montanari now on the outside of the 39. So where does this leave Lane?
Trouble brewing, though, in the even further back behind in the 80 and 79 of Penigua and Joel Wood doing battle back and forth. Now it's Dallas Miracle in the 48 machine. He's currently scored 26, 2 laps down, battling with Nathan Sedek and Jake Anderson. Sedlak, I should say. Nathan Sedlak in the 35 and Jake Anderson in the 18. Now the 18 still having handling problems with that car out there. He is still up and down. I don't think he really has a handle on his late model, and he can't make any adjustments as this is a fixed setup series. So Jay Anderson at this point running laps, seeing what he can do, seeing if he can just make the car work for him out there on the field. Meanwhile, back up front, it's no surprise, Dale Smalley in the 69 machine, still your leader on this field, but now the 07 of Gary Bauer has caught him, and he's starting to look underneath to make the third lead change of the night.
Mike Montanari made his way around at number 39 of Accardi as Lane tried to do the same thing, in a 3-wide situation off of the corner, but that 14 definitely moving forward. You talked about the battle for the lead. You got the 07 of Gary Bauer, about 1-2 car lengths off the back bumper of Dale Smalley down the back straightaway right now. TJ Graves in that 50 sitting in the wings in the 30 in the third position, rather, in the 50, but Gary Bauer is on the back bumper of that 69 to Smalley, letting him know that he's there and should try to set up for a pass here in the coming laps.
Jake Griffin in the 97 machine looking for a position on Michael Johnson in the 78. Johnson able to keep the track position on the high side, but during the turns you see the 97 getting just a little bit of advantage out there. The 97 stays. He keeps using that apron to get him turning.
33 car rode the wall through turns number 3 and 4. After receiving some right side damage, managed to keep it up there in the fence, did not come down and collect anybody else, but that number 33 of Travis Brown cannot make those corners with damage. But the problem is he can't get down to pit road. He's 31st spot, 11 laps down. If he was going to come down and make some repairs of that obviously damaged right side of that race car, he couldn't get down. Now he can, but I don't think he has any resets left after obviously being involved in an incident earlier, being 11 laps down. So he's just trying to log laps and hope maybe that 30 is the lucky number for that $5 bonus.
Michael Johnson now able to keep his position in the 78 machine, score him in position number 4. Jake Griffin in the 97, still put him in position number 5. And a guy that should pick up something for his effort tonight is Colton Berkey, now currently being scored in 7, right behind his dad in the 17, Gordon Berkey. So Berkey and Berkey, father and son, continuing now, starting to run, and they've got hooked up, and I think they're going to start seeing a run out of these two guys. I think both these guys are going to work as hard as they can to keep moving forward.
If they work together, it's a lot easier when the person behind you has the same game plan as you, as opposed to if you're going to make a move on the guy in front of you and the guy behind you sneaks in there to the inside or the outside. You look in front of Berkey, in front of Gordon Berkey rather, is Jake Griffin in the 97. These 17 and the 81. The Berkeys could be attacking this number 97 in the coming laps here, but again, just going to ride around, work together, and that can really help out at restrictor plate style tracks like this that we've touched on all night long. However, we're starting to get a green flag run brewing, and everybody's starting to spread out, but the battle is picking up front as the 07 of Bauer just inches off the back bumper of Smalley going into 3. This time coming across the stripe, Smalley has about a half a car length lead.
Let's ride on the back bumper of the 69 machine. That's Dale Smalley. You're going to see just how close that 07 is. Less than a half a car length between the 07 and the 69. And you see that battle right now. The 07, he knows he's got a fast car. He knows he can work with the 69, but he wants to get underneath and around the 69 or force the 69 to make a mistake so he can make the pass with relative ease. Dale Smalley so far has been flawless on this field. He has just been, as he completes lap 40, he has been flawless. He's been able to execute with near perfection out there. There has not been a more precise driver or a driver with more precision than Dale Smalley. Gary Bauer, though, the 07 machine, wait for him. He's got an eye on what he wants to do. He's going to bide his time and try to make this work for him.
Another side-by-side battle brewing on the track is the 8th spot, the number 31 of Martin Porter, under attack by the 88 of Michael Chersma. And here comes the 26 also of Marcus Babb in that number 26 coming on the inside. So the 31 Porter can't make it stick on the top. He's going to lose 2 spots in there in one shot, dropping from 8th to 10th position. And now taking on that 26, he could be looking for that 88th position. He tries to get down to the inside on the white line, can't make it stick for now.
So score the 88 machine of Michael Churchma up a couple positions. Marcus Babb will also pick up some position as well. And Martin Porter, the 31, he will drop all the way down to 10th. The 31 looks like he's having a hard time trying to control that machine, almost getting sideways. There's turns 1 and 2, or check that 3 and 4. Martin Porter, good looking car out there in the 31. That being said, though, looks aren't everything, and he's got to try to figure out a way to keep this late model from going sideways in the turns, burning up his tires, and keep it going in the right direction.
Let's take an eye on where the most of the field is. How about the 4th place car being the number 78 of Michael Johnson? Behind him, Jake Griffin in the 97 on his bumper this time through turns number 3 and 4. 78 leading this big group of cars. After Griffin is Gordon Berkey, followed by Colton Berkey. And then, so these 4 cars within about a second of each other. You could put a blanket over them. Very close quarters racing, but all their cars look pretty much even. But I have a feeling that 97 of Griffin is trying to get around that 78 of Johnson. He's been looking in, looking out these last few laps, trying to pick up position number 4.
Jim Penigua in the 80 machine loses position to the 62 of Chuck Thompson. Chuck Thompson will now be scored in the 24th position, but he's still 1 lap down there on the field. Let's go ahead and go back up front with the 97 of Jake Griffin. He's under attack from Berkey and Son. They are hooked up. They are starting to move out there. And the 97, it's all he can do to keep them behind him is by keeping in front of them and making sure he runs the exact same line as them. 97 now goes high, opens the door for the 17. Does he have a run to get at the 78? Griffin goes back down in line, closes the door on Gordon Berkey, Colton Berkey right behind them. And now I've got a feeling you're going to see a little bit of tandem driving between Johnson and Griffin, Berkey and Berkey out there. I think both these guys' new goal in life is not to get up front with your leaders, but to keep the Berkeys, father and son team, behind them.
And definitely, again, when you got 2 cars exactly on the same page, probably communicating with each other, that's really not going to help you out. I mean, you look at the 81 of Colton Berkey, has not made any sort of moves outside of that number 17 of Gordon Berkey in front of him. So just riding along, helping each other in the draft. And after we got this green flag run going, we are already on lap number 47 for your race leader, Dale Smalley, of 125. So the lap's starting to fall off here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Are going to be approaching the halfway point in just under 20 laps or so. But another big pack is now brewing. Look at the 88, 8th position. Again, Michael Chersma there on the top has company. The 26 of Marcus Babb going down to the inside, and then the 31 of Martin Porter's there, and there is also the 14 of Mike Montanari. So a 4-car battle, 2 by 2 going into 3.
Mark Martinari in the 14 machine, still working that 4-car battle for everything it's worth. Montanari in the 14. He will pick up position. He will pick it up in a convincing way. Score Montanari in the 10th position. Back in front of him, Marcus Babb and Michael Churchma in the 88. They're back to single file racing, and they're going to go back to just running in line and trying to make a run work for them. Tempers and nerves have calmed down, but I've got a feeling it's only temporary. As we approach halfway, let's go ahead and take a commercial break. You're watching ETV Live's live coverage of the Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money. It's late models in Charlotte. It doesn't get better than this. We'll be back, fans.
Join 5,000 plus other listeners where you can hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV Live, sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
Yellow flag once again on the field involving the 97 of Jake Griffin, the 17 of Gordon Berkey, and the 81 of Colton Berkey. Chain reaction to bring out that caution flag. It was the 97 having a hard time controlling it, going into turns 3 and 4, goes onto the apron, gets back on track, forced to check up. The 17 and 81, then the Berkey father and son team, they just have nowhere to go. They get in the middle of it, and then the 81, after hitting the outside wall hard, he just gets roughed up by everybody coming through. So Colton Berkey, big trouble for him, and that might be the end of his night. In fact, I don't see him on the track anymore. I would score Colton Berkey done.
Yeah, definitely. When that number 17 of Gordon Berkey on the inside, trying to avoid the speedy 97, got loose, came up, clipped that 81. The 81 hit nose first, which causes engine damage, not what the drivers want, and obviously the toughest kind of damage to fix under any circumstances. And that was the battle that we were taking an eye on, and that's when the tires start to go away. You saw it, just miss entry into turn number 3 at the checkup. And those guys, the Berkey family, right behind them, just had nowhere to go, and that's going to put us under about our 5th or 4th caution so far of the night. Other than that, all our leaders coming down pit row, filling up with fuel, possibly getting some new tires on it, and let's see who leaves pit road first, as these things take a lot longer to fuel up than your NASCAR Sprint Cup car. So right now, Dale Smalley in the lead. Mike Montanari, however, in that second pit stall. He could try to make something work here on the pit road.
Dale Smalley gets rolling, but the 88 beats him off pit road. That is going to be Michael Churchma. He finds a way to get around Dale Smalley. Dale Smalley comes off second. Gary Bauer in the 07 third. The 1 of Everett Lane. He's going to make a big jump. He was 9th when we came in. He's going to pick up a lot of position as a result of a strong pit stop. Joel Wood in the 79, another competitor that's going to come back out on track with a really excellent position. Also coming off pit road, Michael Johnson. He's going to lose a lot of position coming in third. Salicardi, he is in 14th. He's going to probably come off around that 14th position. And then there's Martin Porter in the 31. He's also going to lose a lot of position out there. Second round of pit stops involving the 30 of Greaves. The 50 of TJ Greaves. The 67 of Ben Manning coming off pit road. Doug Carlisle in the 01. He spent a lot of time down pit road already. So he's coming back down to the attention of his crew for more service. No, check that. He's going to go ahead and pull it behind the wall. He is done for the night. Ross Cato in the 30 machine on pit road. The 33 of Travis Brown. He's now just turning laps to see if he can get the lottery draw position and win some money for that. Joel Wood, who had a great pit stop, is coming back to the attention of his crew. Not sure why he's coming back down, but here he is. Chuck Thompson is going to pull it behind the wall. He is done for the night. So a lot of guys now starting to retire almost at the halfway point. It looks maybe too much damage for them to handle.
Yeah, it's definitely been a tough night, especially for some of these guys, not even causing an incident, but being caught up in every one. I mean, earlier on we saw the 13 of Sean Bradley still on the racetrack. I think he's been caught up as an innocent victim in at least 3 wrecks earlier on tonight. So sometimes, obviously, if you use up your quick repairs down there on pit road, it's going to be a long night. Again, there is that random draw, but some of these drivers is figuring it's not worth running around here for another 50 some odd laps with severe damage on that race car. So varying strategies right now, but again, Michael Churchma, your new leader after beating Dale Smalley off of pit road. So it's going to be a different driver leading us to our ensuing restart as we get the one to go this time by the flag.
Number 48 of Dallas Miracle, he's still 1 lap down. He's going to go ahead and get the wave around from the officials. The 13 also getting the wave around. The 80 taking advantage of the wave around, and it looks like it's going to be Michael Churchma in the 88 that will restart at the top of this field as the pace car lights go out. The 69 Dale Smalley second, Gary Bauer third, Everett Lane now in fourth, Salicardi, Martin Porter, Garrett Atwell, Michael Montanari, and the number 26 of Marcus Babb, and it looks like it'll be the number 90 of Mark McFadden that'll round out your top 10. Everybody getting sorted out. They're going to go green. They're going to try to go green flag racing this time by, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
It's going to be interesting to see how they negotiate this. Everybody's still figuring out. Obviously, there goes the wave around right now, taking his lap back. So field's going to double up. We should be able to get it going here if everybody gets into position and the officials don't throw it and delay. It looks like everybody's sorting into position here in turns number 3 and 4. So it looks like we may come to the green flag and restart this race. Actually, there it is. They have delayed the caution, so we're going to go around one more time to get everybody sorted out as the wave around had to get by, which caused the field to not be able to double up. However, Alan Larson joining us back up here in the booth again.
Hey,
Alan,
guys.
Alan Larson once again with us. He's your administrator. We've seen a lot more racing out here, and now that we've had a long green flag run, we're really able to see what these late models are able to do at this 1.5 mile track.
Yeah, that run was definitely a lot better. That was definitely a lot better run. And apologies to the Jake Griffin fans. We had to remove him from the server due to the fact that he was blinking real bad, and that's actually what was disqualified for blinking, and that's what actually brought out that caution, because he was black flagged, and when he tried to slow down to get on the pit road, he slowed down right in front of the field, and yeah.
So very, very bad luck. Good to hear that it was conditional and not necessarily behavioral, as they say.
10-4.
A lot more we want to talk about with you. We'll ask you to hang out with us for just a few more moments as we get this field sorted out. Once again, it's Michael Churchma going to restart on the front row with Dale Smalley behind him, Gary Bauer and Everett Lane in the second row, Salicardi, Martin Porter in third. Then it'll be Mark Montanari, Garrett Atwell behind them, and rounding out your top 10 will be Gordon Berkey and Marcus Baum. Rounding out your top 10. Gordon Berkey, good to see him still in the top 10, despite that incident that he was involved in that brought out the yellow flag. Pace car about to make its way down to pit road, get out of the way of all these late models, getting ready to go back once again to green flag racing. Only 17 cars out of 34 that started. We're going to go around one more time. Why not? Why not go around just one more time?
Parade lapping for the fans at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Race officials trying to make sure that everybody is in the correct position for the ensuing restart. Almost on the downside of things here in a 125 lap race, currently working lap number 56. So making sure everybody's in the right spot. A couple more wave rounds, I think, possibly that have to come around. The 90 car here may have to come around being Mark McFadden. So the officials and the drivers are trying to sort out our running order, and then we'll get back to green flag racing.
Well, Alan Larson's still in the booth with us. And Alan, one of the things that really makes this series so special to me is the fact that every other week, every time we get together for Sunday Money, it's something completely different. And in some cases, it's stuff you'd never think of. In others, it's stuff that isn't necessarily realistically possible, but you can make it happen in the sim.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what makes us unique, is we do something different every week, and that's kind of in a lot of ways the draw to this series, because the good guys like Dale Smalley, Michael Churchma, these guys that are running up front, man, they're just talented no matter where you go, and that's they know that they can compete pretty much anywhere, so that's what keeps them coming back.
It keeps them coming back, and it really is a challenge for each of these drivers week in and week out, as they have to figure out how they're going to respond every week to a different style of racing.
Yeah,
pace car, we'll follow that thought for just a moment, as the pace car finally makes his way down pit road. We're back to green flag racing. Michael Churchma gets the big move up front. He will lead. It'll be the third lead change of the night, as Churchma officially leads lap 56 under the green flag. Dale Smalley now immediately on his tail. Gary Bauer back there. Battle is now around fourth place position as a 1, the 31, the 4, and 39 still side by side.
Trying to negotiate positions to figure out where they're going to end up. 39 is going to get turned at Salicardi by the 4 into the wall in the middle of the back straightaway. 78 is involved in it. That's going to bring out another caution and miscommunication. Drivers racing side by side. The 4 of Garrett Atwell is going to take responsibility for the incident. It looks like that the 39 down on that white line moved up a little bit. 4 came down trying to get any side draft they could, and as soon as they got hooked together, that sent that 39 hard into the inside wall.
You saw that one live, the 4 and the 39 getting hooked up, and I think you're right there, Evan. It was just a miscommunication. Both those drivers thinking they were clear, those drivers thinking they had a little bit more real estate than they did, and both those cars are definitely going to have a hard lick, and that might be the end of both their nights. I believe Salicardi has one restart left, but I don't believe the 4 does.
That's going to be a tough break on those drivers because that was another incident up there in the top 10, which means that these guys are fast. I mean, we've seen lots of adversity with all the incidents that have happened to this point in the race with drivers taking their repair, moving back up through the field. But if you waste those and you run out, you're done. However, fake out at the front of the field. Dale Smalley in second position, fakes to go down pit road. He convinced our race leader that they were going to pit, so that the 88 of Churchma came down pit road. Dale Smalley made that right-hand turn right back out onto the track, so the 88 is the only one that ends up coming down pit road.
Churchma, the 88, and 31 of Martin Porter, the only two cars coming down pit road, and I think in this case 2 is the loneliest number that you've ever heard. Now a bunch of guys that were in the back, like James Wilkins in the 02 machine, he's going to go ahead and take the advantage to go down pit road. 35 of Nathan Sedlak, he's going to come down pit road. The 31 of Martin Porter on pit road. Galen Gidman in the 04, he's coming off as well. Garrett Atwell with a very damaged number 4 machine. I believe he's done for the night. We'll have to see if they can at least get some of this damage repaired so we can stay competitive and stay turning laps and try to win that lottery position. Alan Larson's still in the booth with us. Now, and I didn't mean to cut you off when you were going back to Green Flag Racing, but we were talking about the different series and how, with this Sunday Monday series, you've got to continue to be on top of your game no matter what kind of driving it is. You can't just be a road guy, you can't be an oval guy, and you can't just run that sprint car week after week after week after week.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a diversity of talent needed for sure. And like I said before, that I think that's what makes us unique, and that's what I really like about the series. Nobody else is doing it, and I think that that's why I really believe that the Sunday Money series is turning in to be one of the premier series in iRacing.
Now we've talked about the different mods earlier, the different combinations we're gonna see in the next couple weeks. Tonight it's late models at Charlotte, which has turned out to be a very contentious race, testing each of these drivers' patience out here on this field. In 2 weeks, we're taking the IndyCar to Watkins Glen to run the Cup course out there, which I think will also be an equally interesting challenge for each of these drivers.
Oh yeah, it'll be interesting. We had a few weeks back. We had the NASCAR trucks on the Watkins Glen course, and that was a really good race too. And I can't remember exactly who won that, but I mean it was a very entertaining race, and I think the Indy's cars will be just as entertaining out there. And then here at a few more weeks in the middle of the chase, we got our 10 race chase, and then there's 10 regular season races, and then we final our season off with a 10 race chase. The top 12 will reset the points after 10 races, and then the middle race is a Indy car at Richmond. I think it'll be pretty interesting too.
IndyCars at Richmond is going to be very entertaining, watching them go up to speed and then try to figure out how to navigate the very short turns, the very flat turns there at Richmond.
Yeah, and then we final it off with trucks at Talladega, and that's always a good time. That's I'll be in that race, and hopefully I won't have the same luck that bestowed me last week in the Border Wars.
I was about to say, we saw you in the Border Wars last week, and that was definitely a challenge of ability, and now we're hearing that it's going to be the very last race of the season. That's going to be very entertaining for everybody to watch.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we normally do final out our races, our seasons with the trucks at Talladega, and that's always a fun race, and that's kind of my forte here on iRacing. I do a lot of truck races at Talladega because I really like it. The trucks are easy to handle there, and they do a really awesome job there, and I really like them.
Doubling up now, they're getting ready to go Green Flag Racing. Alan, we will definitely have you come back to the booth later on in the race to give us your thoughts on what we're seeing out here on track.
All right, 10-4, guys. Have a good broadcast.
Joe Cortez, Evan Pisacco, joined by Alan Larson in the booth. Lights are off. We're back to Green Flag Racing in half a lap. It's Dale Smalley back at the front end of this field in 69. Gary Bauer now beside him. Everett Lade, Mark Montanari in this row behind him. Gordon Berkey, Marcus Babb behind them. Michael Johnson, Joel Wood, David Parks, John Pensula round out your top 10. And the biggest loser of this group had to be the 88 of Michael Churchma. He was the leader going into this yellow flag, the 6th yellow flag we've had out here tonight. He will restart in the 14th position, a long ways away from Dale Smalley and that lead. Pace car getting ready to pull off. Green flag racing to the control of Dale Smalley.
Field working off the corner. It's going to be interesting to see how Churchman negotiates that mid-pack racing. The pace car down. Dale Smalley now in control of the field. He's going to wait right until that kink there in the quad over. There he goes. The green flag is out, and we're back racing at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. The 07 of Gary Bauer could not hang on to be side by side with Smalley. He's going to pull in line, and the 14 of Montanari is going to hang on to third, which puts the number 1 of Everett D. Lane in that 4th position. Everybody in the top 10 single filing out, but a big group of cars around 12. Take a look at the 7 of Carl Jones on that inside line, as you got also cars being the 04 and the 88 up top there. Big pack going in the 3.
Mark Montanari in the 14 machine. He has been dominant on the restarts all night. Almost every restart, he's been good there. 88 now in the wall. That's Churchma. He's going to start falling positions as well. The 88 of Churchma able to rescue it, but he's going to cost him a heavy. 18 and 90 now in behind him. 18 heavy in the wall. He's spinning around like a top. 7th caution flag out on the field, and the 18 once again. Heavy contact into that outside wall, destroying the front end of that machine.
And that caution nearly came out in 3 when the 88 of Churchma got up into the outside wall. The 18 on the bottom lane and getting turned by the 90 car of Mark McFadden. McFadden looking like he just did not know where that 18 was, either coming down and try to get some side draft or thought he'd be clear. But as soon as he touched that right side of the car, went hard into the wall. The 18 making a dead right turn, 90 degrees. That car destroyed after getting into that outside wall with a no safer barrier there. His night is done, and we're under caution again for the 7th time.
Jay Anderson will call it a night after that incident. He will be scored somewhere in the mid-20s. Let's let these guys sort out and take a quick commercial break. You're watching ETV Live's live coverage of the Cora Series, the Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Series. Dale Smalley continues to be in control of this field. Will he hold on? We'll find out when we come back. Stay tuned, race fans.
Hey, JD here with ETV Live, and let me tell you something. If it's too big for the pickup truck and you need to move it, there's only one trucking company you need to call, and don't bother with the Yellow Pages Cowboy. I'll give you that number in a minute. Manufactured goods, automotive, technical equipment, furniture, even if you need a reefer, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated is the only choice, Cowboy. With locations in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, Rancho Cucamonga, California, if you need to move it, store it, and keep it cold, you need to call Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated. Long haul, short haul, or just across town, Gary Mercer has the best trained and qualified drivers to get your load from point A to point B with professionalism and on time. So remember, Hoss, if it don't fit in a pickup truck, you're going to need a real truck, Cowboy. Sponsors of ETV Live's Friday Night Showdown, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated, 1-800-668-2980.
And we are back live right now at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. currently working under our 7th caution of the night here. Lights still on that Ford First Racing Mustang pace car. New leader, however, up front is the number 14 of Mike Montanari. Again, it's Cora Championship Online Racing Association live on the Sunday Money Series on ETV Live. Alan Larson still joining us up in the booth here. Along my name, Evan Pasoko. I am joining Joe Cortez up here, currently working lap 66 of 125 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Lights still on the pace car, and Mark Montanari, the setup guru himself, in charge of this field. And Alan, we talked a lot before this race about Mark and his contribution to this series. If anybody should know how to run any given setup in the Sunday Money Series, it's Mark Montanari.
Absolutely. He's got that setup analyzer that is really kind of neat. You plug your setup into it and tell you what you think it's doing, and it tells you how to change it and how to fix it, and it's really kind of a neat deal.
The cool thing about the setup analyzer, not only is it one of the few setup analyzers that gives you that real-time feedback, but it gives you that advantage you need. It's like having a crew chief in your computer at all times.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be nice to have.
Wouldn't it be, though? SetupAnalyzer.com is the website for Mark Montanari's Sim Racing Setup Analyzer. He starts right in front of the field this time around. Mark Montanari in front, Everett Lane right beside of him, Gordon Berkey, Marcus Babb behind them, Michael Johnson, Joel Wood rounds out row 3, John Pensula, Galen Gidman, Martin Porter, and Garrett Atwell round out your top 10. Garrett Atwell did not use his reset, so he's using his reset right now to stay back in this field. He will stay competitive out there, Evan.
Yeah, definitely, again, strategy being played, because you don't want to come down there when you have some minor damage and waste that reset, as the iRacing service will fix that. But then if you have any issues further on in the going, it's not going to be there. So that's why you see some drivers earlier in the race will run around with a little bit of a damage before they finally decided to come down pit road, get that fresh car. Another driver, a good example of that, sitting in third, it's Gordon Berkey after being involved in an incident. The field over in the hands of Montanari as the pace car is down pit road. We're looking for the green flag. Montanari is off, and the green flag back out at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Gordon Berkey now trying to challenge for second on the inside of the lane.
Montanari showing his strength on these restarts tonight. He's had 8 perfectum, and I think that was his best one yet. Now Everett Lane under fire from the 17 of Gordon Berkey. Gordon Berkey had to use one of his resets, but it's paid off as he's now up into second place position. Everett Lane starting to drop off. Almost pushed to the 26 out of the track. Marcus Babb able to rescue it. He's going to fall back in. He will stay in the 4th place position. Michael Johnson, Joel Wood, 5th and 6th. And top 10 now running in single line behind the top 10. It's 88.07 battling for position.
Trying to figure things out as the field starts to string out. The 88 on the inside. Then there's Bauer in that 07 on the top, trying to make it work. Not the preferred lane. The 88 is going to get the advantage going into the turn. And now the 07 is going to drop down. The 88 is going to capitalize on the bobble from the 31 of Martin Porter. And now there goes Churchma to the inside in that 88. Now the 07 is going to try to follow him. 88 trying to stick it on the inside. Can't get it. 31 is going to come down in front of him. Now the 31's around, collecting the 07 into the outside wall. 48's in it as well. And another caution going to be caution number 8 as they reckon 4.
But more importantly, it's the 69 of Dale Smalley, second in points. He is going to be collected in this set as well, and he is going to have some heavy right front damage on that 69 machine. He may need to use his reset right this moment in order to stay competitive out there. First time we've seen Smalley be involved in an incident tonight, and it could not have come at a worse time.
And a tough break there. Don't think that the 31 was sent around from the contact with the 88. 31 came down, looked like he got sideways before the 88 made the eventual contact in that right rear to send the 31 the rest of the way around. And then once the 31 gets sideways, just goes straight up the track. I mean, you mentioned it, catching the 69 car of Smalley. The 07 got a piece of that as well. And then the 48 car got turned on the apron. That's Dallas Miracle, points leader coming into tonight, slammed on the brakes and got run over from the 39 behind him, and that sent the 48 around. So both guys top 2 in points are having a rough night.
Both these guys having a rough night, and the good news for him, as we talked about earlier, there is a chase season that comes along at the end of this series. All they have to do is stay in that top 10, and they can be walking away with one of the premier championships in all of iRacing. Alan, let's talk about that. So you have your regular season, different mod, different track every night, and then it comes down to the last 10 races of the season that's going to test all of their abilities on road, on oval courses, and in every car imaginable along the way.
Yeah, actually, it's a 3-race chase, but there's a road series, 2 road series actually, a truck race and the IndyCar race in the series, and then it comes down to the last 3 races, which I believe are Indy at Richmond and trucks at Talladega. I'd have to check the schedule to see what the first race in the chase is, but yeah, it's definitely a diverse setup here, because we like to mix it up a little bit.
So your winner, the guy who walks away from the Sunday Money Series with the number 1 spot at the end of the season, aside from all of the winnings they've had throughout the season, what else do they walk away with?
Well, they walk away with a check for $150.
Hey, 150 pesos in my bank account would look real good right about now.
Absolutely, and to do that, to do something you love like this, is just, I think that's really neat, to be able to kick back and enjoy yourself and do something you love and walk away with a little bit of cash in your pocket for doing it.
It may not be the $10,000 of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship, but you know what? $150 is still $150, and that's a nice little prize for playing a video game once every other week.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we've talked about the series, we've talked about the drivers, we've talked about their contributions. If someone wants to find out more about Cora, get involved, test their skills with some of the best drivers in all of iRacing, where do they go?
Well, they can go to www.cora-racing.com and check out our website, or they can contact me on TeamSpeak at ETVLIVE or ETV2.kicks-ass.net. :9977 is our TeamSpeak server, and come chat with me on TeamSpeak or send me a message over the iRacing server, and I'll surely get back to you. Cora-racing.com, the website
for everything involving the Championship Online Racing Association. Tell them, Joe, you know what, actually don't, because if you tell them I sent you, they may not let you on track. Let's just be honest about it.
Yeah, okay, Joe.
Pace car about to turn the lights off. As you see a couple guys get the wave around there. Ben Manning gets the wave around that time by. He will be the next car back on the lead lap. 16 cars on the lead lap of a field of 34, so less than half of the field still running on the lead lap. And Evan, Mark Montanari, he's had a quiet race. He's bided his time out here, had to use his reset once, but now that he's done it, he is in command of this field, which is exactly what he wanted to see.
And we've seen him running around all the way back into 20th position, just picking up spots all night long, and eventually here he is up there in that top position as we have 16 cars on the lead lap at this point. So I don't know, that 14 cars had been fast all night. He's looking to now capitalize now that he is in the position to attack and try to get the victory lane after a long fought night that's in the works here at Charlotte. Touching on the chase races for the Championship Online Racing Association will be at Charlotte, Richmond, and then Talladega. So that's something to look forward to as the scene starts to wind down.
It's going to be a very, very entertaining chase for the championship when we have it in just a few weeks' time. Right now, it's all about Mark Montanari and Gordon Berkey. Gordon Berkey now finds his way onto the front row for the first time in the evening. Everett Lane, Marcus Babb behind them. Michael Johnson, Jordan Wood behind them. Galen Gidman, Garrett Atwell, John Pensula, and Michael Churchma refusing to give up. He will round out your top 10 on this field. Pace car going to get the heck out of the way. All eyes on Mark Montanari. He's been strong on 8 of 8 restarts. Can he make it 9 for 9? Green flag flies. Yes, he does. Big jump for the 14. And now they're fighting for scraps around the second place position.
There goes that one of Everett Lane to the inside on the 17 of Gordon Berkey into turns number 1 and 2. The one trying to find the grip's going to hang on and make that pass. How about the 26 of Marcus Babb? on that white line, trying to make it work now on the inside of Berkey. Berkey's going to get the run off turn number 2, however, dropping into the 3rd position, but move that number 1 of Everett Lane in the 2nd.
And something we forgot to mention, the 48 machine, your points leader, Dallas Miracle, he is still on pit road in the very first pit stall. 48 having some serious issues. He's not off the track yet. He's not done for the night per se, but he is 5 laps down, still on pit road, and that is a hard place to be when you are running for a championship. Not where you want to be at all when you got points on the line, especially going to a very, very short chase season. Single file all the way through the field, all the way back up to around the 10th, 11th place position. Check that now. It's going to be the 7th place positions. Michael Churchma thinks around getting around the 0-4 of Galen Gidman. Can't make the move clean on the outside. He's going to go ahead and just pull it behind the 0-4 and let it be, as they say, and give the 0-4 the push he needs to start making some moves.
Well, he's letting him know he's there for sure as he rode the back bumper of the 04 all the way down the front stretch on that bumper off of turn number 2, the 88, again of Michael Churchman, definitely with a fast car. Down the back straightaway, the 04 is going to move down to the bottom line to protect that oh-so-precious inside line. Seeing how they're going to negotiate this, the 88 taking a look to the outside is going to stay in line for now, but an aggressive 88 of Churchman, you mentioned not giving up. He is just trying to get back up there to the front of the field. We know he has a fast race car. It's just a matter of getting back up there, and he's going to continue to try to work on that 04 of Gidman in the coming laps.
0-2 of James Wilkins trying to run in traffic, not able to do so. Let some faster cars by. He will go back to the 19th position. Martin Porter in that group. Almost 3 wide now around the 39, the 7, and the 30. Ross Cato on the very bottom of that group. Salicardi in the 39, about to make it 3 wide. Yes, we are. We're going to go 3 wide into turns 3 and 4. The big loser in that one, Carl Jones in the 7. He loses at least 4 positions as a result. Something had to give. They were no way they were going 3 wide. And Carl Jones, knowing that discretion is a better part of valor, he's going to go ahead and let them all get by, and he will come back later on in the race, I'm sure, to try to claim a little revenge for that big move.
Yeah, he saw that those guys behind him had the run, maybe cut it a little bit close with that 39 in the middle, but the 7 of Jones being 5 laps down just gave way to those lead lap cars to let them go on by and battle it out. A 4-car pack forming up top. It's Michael Johnson in the 4th position in the 78. He is the one with a half a second gap back to the 79 of Joel Wood in 5th. So the top 4 breaking away. You see the 17 of Gordon Berkey taking a peek to the outside, trying to get something to work here as these top 4 bumper to bumper for the lead here on lap 79. Gordon Berkey with another fast car trying to work on Lane after Lane made that pass on him just 3-4 laps ago to retake the lead. 17 is not going to give up anytime soon.
Everett Lane, another lead change out here on this field. I believe he is the 5th unique driver out on this group. We're now on board the 78 machine. That is going to be the number 78 of Michael Johnson running 4th. You see just how tight this competition is in front of him. They are bumper to bumper. All it takes is one wrong move from anybody involved, and that is going to take out your leaders, or at least put a big crimp in their night. The 78 running on the tail end of that line. He continues to run back there. I think he's trying to be patient right now. He knows there's still over 40 laps left to go out on this race, and there's still plenty of racing left to do. Now almost 3 wide once again around that 4-car of Atwell. TJ Graves is Michael Churchma about to make it go 3 wide in the 88 machine. Thought about making it 3 wide, thought about going right in the middle, decided the better of it, and now they're going to stack up right behind him. But I think it's brewing. There is some trouble brewing, starting with Churchma in the 88 and the 07 of Gary Bauer immediately on his bumper.
And they're side by side behind them. The 26 of Marcus Babb stuck on the top side. The 69, Dale Smalley going to go around. And now the 61 of John Pansela on that bottom, also going to make his way around. So the 26 of Babb going from the 10th position to 13th, losing about 3 spots that last lap. Now side by side in front of them with that 88 is Michael Churchman. The 07 is going to give up. That was Gary Bauer, who was on the outside, pulling back in line. Is going to get a run down the back straightaway. Now he's going to pop up to the top, trying to make something work. The 07 and the 88 going to go side by side in the 3. That top just cannot hang with that bottom lane, though, in corner entry. 07 Gary Bauer lucky that 69 of Smalley didn't get there to close the door and is able to jump back in line for now. Meanwhile, the battle's still on up front as that number 1 of Everett D. Lane under attack by the 17 of Berkey. Those top 4 are bumper to bumper, and now here comes the number 79 of Joel Wood into the picture. So these top 5 guys, real close racing up front.
What was a 4-car battle turned into a 5-car battle very, very quickly. And now it's the 78 of Michael Johnson. We've seen him try to run the high side hard all night. He is not able to make it work. He's going to go right back in line, and that will be a 5-car battle for the lead. I want to go back to talk about the 69 of Dale Smalley. He did have to use his reset tonight on that incident where he had damage, but now he's running in the top 10 once again. You see the 04 now blinking and getting into the wall. 04, heavy electrical problems for Gaten Gidman out there. We'll have to keep an eye to see if he's able to resolve and recover those. Dale Smalley, however, now back in the top 10, and he is, if not going to take away the lead, cut into a big chunk of that lead that Dallas Miracle has on the points lead. Dale Smalley currently running in 10th, the 48 of Miracle 25th, currently being scored right now. So 15 points between those two drivers in this race alone, and that is going to be a big boost to Dale Smalley as he picks up another position. He's now in 9th.
Yeah, definitely taking a look at Smalley battle in front of him as the 4-car of Garrett Atwell gets loose. 07 into the left rear of him, and now they're going to slow him down. The caution flag is going to come back out on the racetrack. The 39 of Salacardi down on the apron with some damage in 3 and 4. Taking a look for the cause of that incident, looking like it happened to going into the corner in turn number 1 between the 39 and another race car. Looks like it's the 62 gets in there a little hot. That's Chuck Thompson, and spinning that 39, backs it into the outside wall, and is going to roll that back down onto the apron. That's going to bring in our 9th caution of the night.
Hey, Evan, was the 39 machine stolen? And the reason why I ask is because the 39 literally and figuratively got pit maneuvered. As you look where he hit him on that rear corner, he just gave, it looks almost as if that other car gave him the pit maneuver out there to spin him around and stop that pursuit, the 62 machine. That is Jim Penigua. He just looks like he gave the pit, or check that, not Jim Penigua, that's Chuck Thompson. It looks like he just gave him a little pit maneuver out there to stop that pursuit once and for all.
Yeah, I don't know if the 62, maybe the Thompson family having some history on law enforcement. Very, very well executed. Just barely getting into the left rear, and with these cars being, so much on the ragged edge that any contact sent that 39 right around. 62 didn't even wiggle from it.
All he had to do was go over and make the arrest at that point. Hard break for Sal Accardi in the 39 machine. That is not what you want to see from him. He's already used his reset, so now he's going to sit down there. Check that. Sal Accardi will pull it behind the wall. He is done. Oh, he's not done for the night. He's going to go ahead and try to get as much repairs as he can on that 39 machine and try to make it work out there. So Sal Accardi also not giving up. Going to try to win that lottery position as well as he goes 2 laps down.
Yeah, sitting in pit road trying to get it fixed. Again, a lot of these guys sticking around laps down have no chance of winning the race, but they're trying to get A, points, and B, again, that random position could be anywhere. And that's when you got to look back at the 48 of Dallas Miracle coming into tonight as your points leader with a 12-point gap over Smalley. Smalley right now running a lot further up than he is in the 5th position with the 69. Miracle in 25th, 11 laps, or 14 laps down rather. Nobody in front of him is retired on the racetrack just yet, and there are people behind him still going, so he has to stay out there and try to maintain position and minimize the damage of the points loss that he's going to receive tonight.
He's going to need to do something out there in order to try to make it work and try to minimize the loss and get himself in a good position for the chase later on tonight. Alan Larson, your administrator here at Championship Online Racing Associations. We talked about earlier in our race tonight. Top 8 from tonight's race will walk away with a little bit of cash. Your pole sitter will walk away with a little bit of cash. That was the 48 machine of Dallas Miracle. And then you have the lottery draw. How does that work?
Okay, actually it's the top 10. We pay out the top 10 positions starting at $50 to win, 30 for second, 20 for third, 15 for fourth, 10 for fifth, and then 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 all the way back to 10th place. Then we give the then we give the pole sitter $5. We give the safest driver of the race, we call him our Boy Scout, if he's just outside the top 10 and the highest finisher with the fewest incidences, we give him $5. And then just prior to qualifying, we draw a random number. Tonight it's 18. The driver that qualified 18th, I believe that was Nathan Sedlick. He put $5 in his pocket, and then whoever finishes the race tonight in 18th position will also put $5 in their pocket.
And one of the even more neat things about the series is you have 3 attempts to qualify. You have 3 attempts throughout the week leading up to that Saturday night last chance. So if you don't make it in one of the first 2 attempts, you always have Saturday to try to sneak in some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely, and the nice thing about it is if you come in and qualify and you don't make it, you always do have that second chance to qualify. But if you win the race, your entry fee is paid into the Sunday money. So it's $2 to enter a qualifier, and then once you qualify, it's $3 to get into the race, into Sunday money. Okay, now if you won the race, if you won your qualifier, that's a $3 in your pocket too, because Cora takes and pays your $3 entry fee to get into the Sunday money race.
So there's a lot of incentive then, not just to show up in a qualifying trim, but show up in a strong finishing trim in a strong finishing mindset, I should say, in order to pick up money and already start getting a return on your investment immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we also have a feeder series to this that is completely free to join. We run periodically. We don't run it every week like we do the Sunday Money series, but we run the Fast Lane Short Track series. And what that is it's $10 to win plus a free entry into a qualifier. And then it's $7 for second, $3 for third. But the points championship from that series also will walk away with a $100 check as well. And then you get, if you win one of them races, you get a free entry into a qualifier and $10 in your pocket. So that's kind of a feeder series for this too.
So I imagine that there's a lot of competition in both the short track series, which allows them to make their way into this series very quickly, and at this very top tier that you run here at Cora.
Oh, absolutely, and we have a lot of fun with it, and we really enjoy you guys and coming and broadcasting for us. But we couldn't get it done without a lot of sponsorship too, and I really need to give a shout out to some of our sponsors. Of course, Mark Montanari, Setup Analyzer, Gordon Berkey, Painting and Sandblasting, Cherry Hurley, Property Maintenance, and Cole's Wheelboard Truck Center up in Minnesota. They give us a lot of help as well. So we really do appreciate all our sponsors.
A lot of sponsors, a lot of people making this happen here at Cora Racing, and a lot of fun racing as you see here on the track. With 90 laps left to go, it's still anybody's race, about 35 when we go back to Green Flag Racing. I know you're supposed to be objective here, but do you have a pick to win?
Oh, I don't know. Mark Montanari seems to have that car running pretty good, but I wouldn't count out Michael Johnson or hey, look back in 5th position. That champion, our 2-time series champion, is not far back. So got to keep an eye on him too.
Mark Montanari must have used the setup analyzer on this late model to try to get it as best he could. You want to get a car set up just as well, go to his website, setupanalyzer.com, and you too can be running just as hard on the track. Pace car makes his way down. It's Mark Montanari once again in front. The 7807 doing battle, and the 79 Joel Wood did not get the start that Dale Smalley wanted him to get. Got into him, punched a little dent into the rear fender of that 79 machine, but now he's going the right direction in the 07 of Gary Bauer. He's got to start keeping holding on because he doesn't want to lose position.
He's going to try to make something work here on the outside of that 78 of Michael Johnson. Johnson on the inside lane is obviously going to have the advantage with that preferred lane. Gets almost clear of that 07 here, going to come off of the corner. Can't quite slide up in front of him. The 07's there on that left rear. And then again, keeping on that 79 of Joel Wood could capitalize on this as he tries to look to the inside as the 78, the 07 continue to battle into one. You're going to see Bauer try to slide down there in line. 79 not quite there. Now he's going to be there off the corner. 79 losing the speed on that bottom. So the 07 of Bauer able to jump back into the inside lane with an aggressive move all over the back bumper. That 78 of Johnson trying to find a way around.
I'm keeping an eye on the number 1 machine of Everett Lane, now side by side with the 90 of Mark McFadden. The number 1, he was leading the race earlier out there. Now he's going to be relegated to 13th, to the 12th position. Mark McFadden currently in 14th, giving away the position. Mark McFadden, I know, wants to get up to the top 10. He needs to work with the 1 to make that happen. Meanwhile, drafts abundant on this track, and then there's the 4 once again on the apron to get back on track and make it work. With the 4, Garrett Atwell does not look like he's very happy with that car.
Definitely trying to figure out what it wants to do. Lots of shuffling all over the track, taking down the 10th place position car. That's the number 88 of Michael Churchman there. Very packed together there. He's on that back bumper, the 26 of Marcus Babb. He's got the 17 of Gordon Berkey right behind him. These 5 cars, bumper to bumper, put a blanket over all of them. Challenging now for 8th is that 26 of Babb. Took a look to the inside, can't make it work. Porter running the defensive line there on that bottom, trying to hang on to that position. Lots of shuffling all over the racetrack.
Mark Montanari, however, not shuffling at all. He's running the perfect line, and he is in great position to run away with this race. 31 left to go at this juncture. It's going to be the 78 of Michael Johnson in second, Gary Bauer third, Joel Wood fourth, and the battle still remains for the 6th position. John Pansula in the 61, under fire from the 4 of Garrett Atwell. He falls back in line, and now most of the field running single file, with the exception of Everett Lane, who's still picking off cars. He now gets around the 50 of TJ Graves, and that will put Everett Lane in the 12th position. Everett Lane, I don't know what's gotten under him, but he looks like a man who's got a fire underneath him.
The only problem is, does he have enough time to make something work? Right now, working lap number 26. Just over 30 laps to go in this race. Can he get back up there? He might need a caution, as he's 2.33 seconds off of the race leader in Montanari, but he's definitely trying to get something done. As you see, the 50 of Graves almost pushing him through that entire corner, trying to bump draft and get them up to this group of cars in front that we took an eye on just not too many laps ago, including that 88 of Church, with a 58 now, or the 50 going to look on the outside, the 26 to the inside, the 1 is going to come up and hit the 50 lane into Graves, TJ Graves on the outside wall, slow now on the racetrack.
As they guys get sorted out, let's go to where the action is. Let's ride on board the 26 of Marcus Babb real quick, and you can see just how heavy that action is. We're not in front of him, around him, and everywhere in between. The 26 and 88 doing battle side by side. Michael Churchman now trying to get around Marcus Babb. Babb on the inside has the advantage, and Marcus Babb will continue to fight down there, and joining him will be the 17 of Gordon Berkey. Berkey has been a great run all night. He might find his way into the top 10 once again, if Michael Churchman will let him, I should say. Michael Churchman has been an anomaly tonight. He's really found a way to make this high line work, and even if he can't pass on it, he's staying competitive, and he's keeping these drivers honest by keeping around them and letting them know, you can run fast on the low line, but I'm still right here, and you got to get around me if you want to pass.
And definitely the 26 now, Marcus Babb starts to get clear, and he does clear that 88 of Church, but now the 17 of Gordon Berkey trying to do the same thing. Berkey with a little bit of an advantage this time going into turn number 3. The 88 starting to drop off again. That top line just can't really do anything in corner entry. 17 going to clear Churchman, and now Everett D. Lane there in that number 1. Now side by side with the 88. So the 88, as fast as he's been all night long on that top side, just can't compete with that bottom line, and is going to drop all the way back into the 12th spot.
The 14 of Montanari continuing to lead out there, but then the 78 of Michael Johnson immediately on his back bumper. And look who's joined the party, the 707 of Gary Bauer. Those cars, only 0.2 of a second between them. And then there's the 4 of Dale Smalley. When these guys come around, we'll show you the start-finish perspective to show you just how much time is really caught between your top 3 right now and your 4th place competitor, Dale Smalley. Smalley's still in a money position. He's still looking to walk away with a little bit of a paycheck as you see them cross the line right here. It's Montanari, it's Johnson, Bauer, and then the 69 tailing behind, almost 0.4 of a second behind. To you and me, that doesn't sound like a whole lot. For them, it's an eternity. And even though Smalley is starting to pick up time, he needs to start picking up time in a big way. We're almost at the 20 to go point.
And side by side for the 5th spot, the 79 of Joel Wood is under attack by the 4 of Garrett Atwell. Atwell making that move to the inside after they negotiated their way around lap traffic, going to try to capitalize on that position. He has help behind him, being the 61 of John Pansela. They're going to bump draft him in the corner to try to get him clear of that 79 of Wood. Wood with the advantage into the corner, but that's where that top lane stalls out right there, which is going to allow Atwell to clear the 79. And now again, here comes that number 61 of Pansela on that bottom, trying to pick up that spot. Wood is possibly going to drop back from 5th to the 7th position. Again, these are all pain positions, so every spot counts for these guys.
Every spot is a few extra bucks, and $50 to the winner means you want to make it work out there. Treble on the track once again. Salicardi in the 39 machine. That will bring out another yellow flag. It looks like it. Yes, the 50 and 39. This time the 39, innocent victim, getting in trouble as a 50, forced to cross all the way up track in front of traffic.
And that's that number 35 car of Nathan Sedlak, 7 laps down. He's the one that ended up causing the checkup around some of our leaders, and he was riding the middle of the track as opposed to staying higher at the bottom. In the 50 of TJ Graves, battling for position with Cardi, made an aggressive move to the inside to try to get some speed, and he got on that apron, got loose, pushed up the racetrack, snapped right, collecting the 39. The 39 got punted. Then by the 62 car, almost went over, and another big incident there in turns number 1 and 2 is going to throw number caution 10 on the night.
10th caution period of the night. Sal Accardi in an incident of no fault of his own. That will end it for him, and it will be wreckers instead of checkers for the 39 of Sal Accardi. You never want to see a car go out that way. Just involved in a big incident like that, that's no fault of their own. You never want to see a car go out like that at all, Evan.
Yeah, no, a tough night for Accardi. We saw him running up front earlier on in the night. He is taking that car behind the wall at this point. He had a competitive car earlier on, but we've seen him in at least 2-3 wrecks. And again, most of these guys that get caught up in the incident are the innocent bystanders. Sometimes someone that causes a wiggle, that causes the wreck, just continue to drive around it. So a tough break for Accardi, who could have been up there challenging for the lead tonight, just in the wrong place at the wrong time several times tonight. And that's going to result with him going back to the garage early.
16 cars remain on the lead lap, led by Mark Montanari. Will he be able to lead? Can he hold on for the win? We'll find out in just a few more laps. You're watching ETV Live's live coverage of Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Series. Montanari in the lead, but plenty of racing left to go. 20 to go when we go back. Green flag racing.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Plus other listeners where you could hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETVLIVE, sports radio, even all that unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks. HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
Welcome back to ETV Live's live coverage of the Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Series. If you're just tuning in, this is the 10th yellow flag period of the night. Pace car lights are off, though, so we will have a 19-lap dash for the cash when we go back to green flag racing. Very literally 19 laps of the hardest racing you will see anywhere on ETV, as each one of these top 10 spots equate to real money, Evan.
Yeah, definitely. That's what makes it so much more interesting racing. I mentioned for real cash here in their virtual race cars, and definitely a cool thing that these drivers get to do some of the best on the iRacing service. Here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Again, Charlotte Motor Speedway, a track that everybody familiar with, is it's one of the 1.5 mile tracks, actually the only that you get with the iRacing service. So lots of these drivers feel comfortable with this. But again, throwing this car onto this track, a big difference and a big changer for a lot of these guys. It's going to be interesting to see here in the final 20 laps or so if Montanari can hang on. We know he has a fast car. Will they use the bumpers possibly, try to get a bump and run and see that 78 of Michael Johnson possibly try to get to his inside and make a move for the lead? We're going to find out here in 3 and 4, looking for the green.
Montanari's been strong in 9 of 10 restarts. The only question mark is, will he be strong in this one and make it a perfect 10 for 10 tonight? Montanari gets the pace car out of the way. It's his field to control at this juncture. Sees the signal. He's gone. He's got it, but he's got company behind him. The 07 of Gary Bauer. He pulls a no punches there to make that big move, score him in position number 2, snaking it from the 78 of Michael Johnson. Now the 14 and 07, bumper to bumper. Montanari fighting off Bauer, trying to make it, trying to keep Bauer behind him so he can pick up the $50 tonight.
Side by side is the 88 of Michael Churchman on the outside. Nearly gets taken out by Everett Lane in the 10th spot, looking to make a move on that 61 of John Pansel in front of him. And Lane almost took out Churchman. Now Churchman going to drop back in line, being the 10th position right now, shuffling all over the racetrack. But again, the position that matters is up front there. And Gary Bauer in the 07, only a car length off the back bumper of Mike Montanari. The laps continue to wind down. It's going to be a fact of if he can make that pass, both running those setup analyzer cars that you see on the hood of that 14 and 07 cars up front. So we know Bauer's car almost equal to Montanari's. The question is, though, can he make that pass?
And the first man looking out of those cash positions is the 30 of Ross Cato. Now he's going to get passed by the 31 of Martin Porter, though that might be a temporary means. Nope, Porter takes it clean on the outside. Porter now hunting the 88 of Churchman. It's $5 on the line in that 10th place position. The 88 of Churchman doing everything he can to fight off the 31. They make bumper contact coming off of turns 1 and 2. Martin Porter let the 88 know, I want to get my refund for entering this race.
And again, that 78 Michael Johnson now joining that group of the top 3 that have broken away from the pack. Johnson in third, only 0.2 of a second off that back bumper of Montanari. He has 0.3 back to the 4 of Garrett Atwell. Atwell could be working with Dale Smalley. Smalley, no stranger to victory lane here in the Championship Online Racing Association. A lot to come here, I think, in the next lap as we come to take 15 to go, this time by the start-finish line. Again, all these guys are even. It's going to be a matter of setting up and successfully making that pass. Look at the 07 of Bauer trying to look to the inside, but the 14 closes the door off for 07. Looks again, can't get it done, and now we're going to be side by side for a second as the 78 has to make maneuvers to get away from that 07, almost getting caught up in an incident, pulls back in line.
Top 3 running a perfect line with each other. Montanari, Bauer, Michael Johnson now battles for 4th with your guy second place in points at 69 of Dale Smalley outside the 4 of Garrett Atwell. Smalley seems to really get a good run on that outside line, and he is looking for points. He is hunting more for points right now than anything else. Knows he can make a big splash in points with a big finish here over your points leader, Dallas Miracle. Miracle 23rd, Dale Smalley 5th. Almost 20 positions between Smalley and Miracle. That's a 20-point deficit. That will definitely hurt. The points lead Miracle has right now. Smalley currently on paper in 4th, but it's a very fragile 4th. The 17 giving him the push. The 4 Garrett Atwell doing everything he can to make sure that he does not get that move. It's too little, too late. Garrett Atwell will go down to position number 5 and maybe even 6th as a 17 of Gordon Berkey doing everything he can to try to get around and get one more position and get a few extra bucks in his pocket.
Trying to do whatever they can. Again, Dale Smalley, though, in that 69, two-time defending series champion. Speaking of Berkey, he's got Garrett Atwell down in that 4 on the inside. Atwell sitting in the 6th spot, trying to get 5th from Berkey. Berkey's going to get the run off the corner, so he's not going to be able to get it quite yet. These guys possibly trying to work together, being the 69 and the 17 of Smalley and Berkey, trying to catch these leaders side by side for a second. 78 and 07, contact on the front straightaway, door banging to the start-finish line. The 07's going to turn Michael Johnson into the wall. Caution flag is out, the 17 is in it, and big wreck at the front of the field as they pilot him up in turn number 1. Caution is out.
I have never, very rarely have I seen something quite like this. We saw it a little bit earlier this week in the Maritime iRacing Series Racing League, but the 07 deliberately getting into the 78. The 07 of Gary Bauer deliberately turning Michael Johnson into the wall to prevent him from getting that second place position, almost deliberately, it looks like. Those two cars just then collecting a plethora of cars behind them. The 88, the 31 getting a touch of this. The 61 of Pansula, the 17 of Gordon Berkey, heavy smoke coming out of his machine. The 79 in the grass, that's Joel Wood. So many cars affected by this situation. This changes everything for the competitors out there.
And I was looking to see if the 07 was upset. Maybe the 78 gave him a bump in 3, but no, the 07 just gave that 78 room. 78 did a really good job of not getting in to Gary Bauer, Michael Johnson on that white line below it at times so that he would not get into the 07. Then the 07 came down, got him on the front stretch twice, and then eventually gave him one more shot, which turned them both into the outside wall. And a lot of drivers, though, did not get the memo or could not get out of the way because a lot of them came in there hot and heavy and piled them in there in a major incident there in turn number 1 late in the going here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Let's see if we can get a replay. We'll see if Laura can pull up a replay from the perspective of the 78 machine. That's Michael Johnson, and you see Michael. If we go on that replay, you'll be able to see here real quick that 78. He doesn't know what's going on. All he knows is he's getting turned around in a hurry out there. As you look in the cockpit, you see him making the move. You see him. He feels the bumps, but he knows he's got the run and he can get it cleanly as he keeps moving. All he sees, from that perspective, is he's going around and he has no way to control it, and that's when the carnage happens in the front of the oval, and that will end Michael Johnson's night. A hard way to go out, considering he knew that he had a car that could win tonight.
Yeah, definitely a tough break late in the going, but this is going to put that 69 of Dale Smalley now in the second position, coming down to the wire. Could the two-time defending champ go to victory lane after all that's been said and done to this point in the race? Also, a lot of other drivers that we've known were fast, but just were not close enough to the front to make a change in this race. This caution changes everything. You got the 4 of Garrett Atwell. You got the 1 of Everett Lane. Joel Wood is in there as well. TJ Graves, the 59th position. Again, you got Michael Churchman, 88, down pit road after getting damaged. But there's a lot of guys up front that could shake the outcome of this race, and Mike Montanari is going to have his hands full in the closing laps.
Now, something I feel like I should mention at this juncture in the race, iRacing does not have an overdrive rule. So if the yellow flag comes out with between 3 and 5 laps left to go, the field will be locked when they cross the line to collect the yellow flag, and that will be effectively the end of the race. They'll run the remainder of the laps under the yellow flag, and there will be no green-white checkered overdrive finish. There will be no one attempt to make it finish green. If we have another yellow flag at this juncture, it could potentially mean the end of the race.
And that's definitely going to be on the mind of Mike Montanari coming to the ensuing restart. He's definitely going to want to get everything he can out of it, try to get the biggest lead possible in order to give himself as much of a cushion as he can when the laps continue to wind down. So it'll be interesting to see how it is negotiated here. Again, the field not quite doubling up just yet. The light's still on the pace car, but that's definitely weighing heavily on the mind of the 14 of Montanari right now in that cockpit.
It absolutely is, because this has major effects on him at this point. But I think the guy who's happiest to see this restart out here is Dale Smalley in the 69 machine. He is now currently scored in second. Dallas Miracle, your points leader, scored in 21st. That's a 19-point deficit, including the bonus point each of these guys would get for leading a lap. 19 points will cut a big chunk into the points lead that Miracle has. So now it's not only about cash for Dale Smalley. It's not about the $15 deficit between first and second. It's about how many points can I make up going into the chase.
Well, we're going to be finding out here soon. Again, Smalley entered tonight second in points. You were talking about it there. Point leader in the 21st spot. That is Dallas Miracle, trying to reduce the impact after being caught up in several incidents tonight so far. Smalley could capitalize and go to victory lane here. We're going to find out in just moments. The field currently working lap number 118. When we come to take the green flag, it will be 119 and 7 laps to go. Mike Montanari, Dale Smalley, Garrett Atwell, Everett Lane, Joel Wool, John Panselo, Ross Caddo, Galen Gidman, TJ Graves, and Mark McFadden, the top 10. Let's see how this thing shakes out.
So your leaders, Mark Montanari, Dale Smalley, Garrett Atwell, Everett Lane. Each one of these guys has a shot at winning this race. When we go back, it will be a 7-lap shootout. The OK Corral is open for business, as our guy JD Webb would say. 7 laps left to go, and it will be all in control of Mark Montanari. He's been strong on the last 10 restarts. Can he make it one more time for the 14 team and the setup analyzer team? Yes, he does. He gets the jump. Now the battle is immediately for second. The 69 of Dale Smalley, the 4 of Garrett Atwell. These guys trying to do battle very, very quickly in a very short amount of time.
At 14 of Montanari has the lead he wants. Dale Smalley hanging on to the second position, going to pull back down in line as they work their way off of turn number 2. He's going to get that draft. Does he try to capitalize on it this time going into turn number 3? He's taking a look to the outside. He knows that's not where to look. Maybe he's trying to get that 14 to come up to block, and then he'll dive down to the inside. Mind games. The 4, Garrett Atwell in the 3rd spot, trying to watch these guys. He could be in the catbird seat if these guys get tangled up front, but we are on lap 120. It's going to be 5 to go next time by.
They continue to run up front without interruption. Montanari having the strong car, getting 3/4 of a car between him and Dale Smalley. Smalley doesn't want to do anything to jeopardize his lead. Now comes Garrett Atwell in the 4, way on the outside. He'll dive right back in. Everett Lane will follow him as if he is hooked to that car. The 4 towing the 1 right along. 4-car battle up front. The 61 of John Pansula now trying to play defense, trying to make sure he stays in the top 5 and picks up that extra bonus cash to stay alive.
Do they make it back to the checkered flag under green flag conditions? If a caution were to come out after about 1 or 2 more laps of racing, it could end the race. That's why the intensity picking up here in the top 4 positions. I've seen finishes at Charlotte within 1,000th of a second, so anything can happen. The 4 of Atwell slides up the racetrack, and now Everett Lane going to move to the inside, the number 1, moving into the 3rd position. Can he get 2 more? The 69 Smalley now, a car length off the back bumper, and Montanari still leading as we are on lap number 122. When do they make their move?
4 laps to go, 3 when they cross the stripe this time by. All eyes on Mark Montanari. Dale Smalley immediately behind him. Dale Smalley showing a lot of patience out here, knowing the 1 is coming. He's going to keep running his race and try to stay up front to preserve the big chunk in the points he's going to carve out of the side of Dallas Miracle. They cross the line. 3 laps left before we decide a winner. Montanari, the 69, now dangerously under fire from the 1 of Everett Lane. They are bumper to bumper. Let's go on board with the 1 of Everett Lane to show you just how dangerous this racing is getting.
He is not going to lift off of that accelerator. He knows that it's now or never. Third place, not good enough. He wants first. He was pushing Smalley down that back straightaway. He was on the apron. He's trying to find any way around. But your leader, Mike Montanari, is going to come by the stripe. 2 laps to go. Dale Smalley can't make the pass quite yet. A half a car length off. Is time running out? A caution would end the race at this point. How will things shake out right here, not only for the top 10 paying positions, but the race lead as Smalley continuing to close in on Montanari in the 4.
John Pensula was playing defense a couple laps ago. Now he's trying to get around the 4 of Garrett Atwell, the 61, looking at every opportunity. The 4 just a faster car. White flag flies this time. 1 to go. All eyes on Montanari, Dale Smalley, as they continue to run. 1 and 2. Everett Lane, too much distance between them. He needs a Herculean run. He needs a second win. He needs a tailwind. He needs wind to get around the 2 leaders. The 4 defending this position on the 61. The 79 hunting for position as well. Now back up front in the 3 and 4 for the final time. Mark Montanari, Dale Smalley. Smalley shows no indication of passing. Doug Montanari wins at Charlotte. Dale Smalley second, Everett Lane third, Garrett Atwell fourth, and John Pensula rounds out your top 5. Mark Montanari and Race Setup Analyzer, one of the sponsors here at Cora. That is one way to get a return of investment out there, winning the race and taking home $50.
Definitely the rest of your top 10 will be 6th position, the number 79 of Joel Wood, 7th position, the 50 of TJ Graves. How about Ross Cadeau and the number 30 taking it home in 8th. 9th place is the 04 of Galen Gidman, and finishing in 10th, the 17 of Gordon Berkey, showing adversity throughout the night, but a great charge by Mike Montanari, getting the win after holding off Dale Smalley in the closing laps as the leaders come and park at the start-finish line. 1, 2, 3, but Mike Montanari, a well-deserved victory after working his way through the field after dropping back early, and a well-deserved win for him in that Setup Analyzer 14.
The 3-second pose now between Montanari, Smalley, and Everett Lane, your top 3 finishers here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, each all unofficial right now. But as of right now, even though it's unofficial, they are unofficially all taking home a lot of cash. And the other storyline to follow, Dale Smalley finishing 19 positions ahead of points leader Dallas Miracle. That will shake things up with only a handful of races left before the chase. Lots of stuff to talk about when we come back. It will be the post-race show. We'll talk to your top 3 finishers. We will look back at this very long, very trying race for each of these drivers and look ahead to 2 weeks when they take on Watkins Glen in the IndyCar. Mark Montanari, your winner. We'll hear from him when we return. The post-race show next on ETV Live.
It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Travis, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4, and the checkered flag, he wins his first NASCAR iRacing.
Mark Montanari surviving the longest 125 laps here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, walks away with a big win. Dale Smalley second, Everett Lane third, Garrett Atwell fourth, John Pansula walks away with a top five. It's the Cora Racing Sunday Money Series, and Mark Montanari walking away, making a big splash on this group. We walk away with an easy $50. And Evan, after the race we saw tonight, I think he's earned it. He definitely deserves it.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier on after the first 3-4 wrecks that it was going to be a night of survival of the fittest, and that's what it was for sure. I mean, we saw several wrecks, I think, in upwards of 10-plus cautions, and a lot of hard racing. You mentioned it's going to be a super speedway style race with these late models running full speed around this 1.5-mile Charlotte Motor Speedway, and that's definitely what it was. We saw super speedway style wrecks, and we saw close quarters racing all the way up to the end, but Mike Montanari definitely holding off Dale Smalley, one of the best in this championship online Racing Association, definitely deserves to be the victory lane.
Mark Montanari unofficially walking away with $50 for the night. Let's go ahead and take it down to victory lane, where Mark Montanari's pulled in and immediately to the attention of Evan Pasoko.
And that's right, down here in Gatorade Victory Lane with Mike Montanari. Mike, great race, and I bet there was a long 125 laps from behind the wheel. How'd the race go from your perspective? We know you qualified up front on the field, 5th position. You dropped back to around 20th. You had to work your way up all night long, but it got you to victory lane.
I tell you what, that was a long race, but I got to give a big shout out to Team NPR for putting together one heck of a setup.
And a good car indeed, for sure. Walk us through after that final restart, having Dale Smalley, a 2-time defending championship here at Cora, on your back bumper.
I was definitely nervous. I know Dale, he's super fast pretty much anywhere we go, and I know that I can race him door to door at any track, so there was no worries about racing him close.
And definitely taking a look, entering tonight, 9th place in the point standings, trying to make it into those top 12 to race for a championship here later on in the season. Obviously, this series so unique when they run different track and car combinations week in and week out. How do you think, looking forward to our next race, which will be in 2 weeks, Indy Cars at Watkins Glen?
I think that's going to be a fun race. Hopefully we'll get a little more spread out than we do here at this track at Charlotte. But, yeah, definitely going to be a fun race in the IndyCar.
And definitely, it was fun for us to watch. A grueling race, I'm sure, for you behind the wheel. Over 2 hours in length. Who makes it happen for you down there?
Well, like I said, definitely shout out to Team NPR, Gary Bauer, Jay Anderson, Mike Vandesal, and a little bit of help there from Dallas Miracle and Dale Smalley.
And definitely, well, congratulations on making it to the victory lane here at the end of the race at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and good luck next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I do believe, Joe Cortez, you are wandering around there on pit road, and you have found our 2nd place finisher, none other than Dale Smalley.
Before we get to Dale Small, I got one question for your winner tonight, Mark Montanari. Mark, I know you're a big supporter here of Championship Online Racing Association, a sponsor with Setup Analyzer. I guess you guys are getting your return on investment the hard way tonight by winning the race.
Hey, you got to get it any way you can. Yeah, the Setup Analyzer, looking forward to the new release coming out here in December. I think everybody's going to enjoy it.
And we will look forward to it as well. Mark Montanari, your winner here tonight, and the mind behind Setup Analyzer. Find out more at setupanalyzer.com. Dale Smalley, your 2-time champion in the Sunday Money Series, finishing 2nd tonight. And Dale, I'm sure there were doubts in your mind at some point tonight on whether or not you were even going to finish 2nd place. You got to be elated with that.
Yeah, had a real good car, real good setup. Had a little help from Gary Bauer. He gave me a good setup to work with, and got back in traffic there for a minute. I got a little worried, got a little fender damage, but it ended up working out good for me.
I should say it definitely worked out well for you in the end. You started second on this field. You dropped back as a result of a couple pit stops. You dropped back through a little bit of trouble. How would you make your way through and back up through this field into second place? And more importantly, what was the biggest, what do you credit to making that run so successful for you?
I just worked traffic pretty good. I got lucky. Made a couple passes on the high side. Worked out good for me. It was a little rough, but it worked out good.
I should say it absolutely worked out well for you out there. So right now you're currently sitting, going into this race, you were sitting second in points behind points leader Dallas Miracle. Miracle finished 21st, you in second. That's a 19-point gap that you've been able to break through, going with only a couple races left before the chase. What is the strategy now at this point? You're definitely a viable contender. You're in. What's it going to take, though, for you to walk in with a number one seed and defend that two-time championship?
I just got to get me another win or two. We're getting bonus points for most wins, doing it just like the Winston Cup, or NASCAR does now, with the chase and all that. So I need another win so I get them bonus points.
Looking ahead, you've got, in 2 weeks' time, the Indy cars at Watkins Glen. Are you at all nervous about that? What are your thoughts, and how hard will it be to get that win there?
It's going to be another one of them just to try to keep the car clean. It's not really looking forward to it. I ain't much on road courses.
Dale Smalley, you're finishing second place here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Before I let you go, Dale, any shout-outs, anything you'd like to offer the benefit of our fans? The microphone's all yours.
I just like to tell Gary, Mark, and them thanks for the help. My teammate Dallas, just glad things worked out the way they did. I got lucky.
That's Dale Smalley finishing second here tonight in the Cora Sunday Money Shootout, looking to defend his championship for a third time. Let's go ahead and go back down Evan Pasoko, who I believe is caught up with Mr. Fastlane himself, Everett Lane.
And definitely down here on a pit road with the driver of that number one. You mentioned Everett Lane having a great night out after a long, long night at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Everett, before we get to anything specific, how did the race go from behind the wheel?
Oh, the car ran really good tonight. Had a good setup in there. My teammates and I, we worked together tonight and last all week, actually, to really get this set up fast. It was a little unfortunate there for my other teammate, Mike. They got in a little bit of trouble up there early, but we had a good fast cars tonight. Real impressed that all three of the fast lane cars are up there, and it ran good.
Qualified for the race in the 19th position, come home with a top three. That's a pretty big improvement. When you look at what happened tonight with all the incidents, drivers getting some quick fixes, did you have to use any of yours, and where were you when mayhem broke loose on the racetrack?
Oh, that's funny you mention that, Evan. I was actually in the very first crash with the very first caution that came out, and went in, had a quick fix, and just decided to lay back a little bit, and it was time to go. I just put the hammer down and try to get to the front.
So a very Talladega Super Speedway strategy. Hang back and get going. Well, only 12 guys made it on to that lead lap when it was all said and done. A great third-placed finish. Again, like we're asking everybody, next week, or actually in 2 weeks, our next race is going to be Indy cars at Watkins Glen. Are you going to plan on trying to qualify for that race? And if so, how confident are you in those cars? Obviously, these races couldn't be any more different.
Yeah, I'm not a big road racer, but as soon as I get off here, I'll be in an Indy car at Watkins Glen getting ready for that race. That's for sure.
And definitely, practice makes perfect for sure. Well, a solid top three finish. You're going to be going to the bank tomorrow night, my friend, taking home the prize money from that third position. Any shout-outs do you want to throw out there?
Oh, yes, I definitely want to thank Cora for everything they do for Cora Racing League. It's outstanding. I appreciate everything they do. This is probably the most fun I've had in any computer game ever, and I want to thank my teammates and everybody that I raced with tonight. I really got, guys were giving me a lot of room there at the end, and I couldn't ask for anything better.
And definitely, well, hey, congrats on a solid top three finish after a hard fight not at Charlotte, and hopefully we'll see you up front in the coming weeks. Good luck.
Oh, thank you, Evan. And thank you, ETVLIVE also.
While we have the opportunity, let's go ahead and go back to your administrator here at Cora, Alan Larson. Alan, we saw a very, very contentious race tonight. We saw a lot of guys fighting hard for the win, but ultimately it was one guy that walked away with it. That was Mark Montanari, walking with right now unofficially with a $50 payday.
Absolutely. It was an awesome race once we got all the bugs out of it and people started getting their wits about them and started racing. A few more cautions than I would have liked to have seen, but all in all, it was a decent race.
2 weeks, we'll be back on air here at ETV Live with the Sunday Money running the Indy cars at Watkins Glen. Alan, based on what you saw tonight, what are we looking forward to in 2 weeks?
We're looking forward to a good race, I believe. I think it'll be a really good race. I'm really looking forward to it.
Alan Larson, one of your administrators here at Cora Championship Online Racing Association. Thanks for joining us in the booth, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again in 2 weeks' time from Watkins Glen, New York.
Absolutely, you will be. I will not be racing that race. I'm not a road course driver, so I'm gonna kick back and relax during that one and enjoy it with you guys as well. So looking forward to that.
Well, you're always welcome up here in the air-conditioned booth.
Thank you guys. You guys do an awesome job.
Alan Larson, your administrator here at Championship Online Racing Association. Evan Pasocco got lost somewhere down on pit road. I think he saw one of the food stands offering half-price food with the closing of the track, so he's going to waste no time picking up his dinner. That will complete our broadcast here from Charlotte Motor Speedway in the heart of racing territory, Charlotte, North Carolina. Be sure to join the Cowboy, J.D. Webb, Jimmy North, and Evan Pasocco, and the whole crew Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. for an hour of rewind, looking back at previous broadcast events, guest interviews, drama, and topics never too hot to touch. The boys ramp it up in the BS and Back Talk segment with thoughts and opinions on some of the hot topics from the online racing arena, including the great racing you saw here tonight at the Sunday Money Series with Cora. It's fun and entertaining, no rules, no BS. Rewind, BS, and Back Talk, 9 p.m. Tuesdays on ETV Live Radio. So on behalf of our entire broadcast crew, your producer and camera operator, Laura Lawson, my partner in crime, Evan Pasocco, I am Joe Cortez. We will see you in 2 weeks' time when we go racing with Cora from Watkins Glen, New York in the Indy cars. Until then, keep it straight on the track. We'll see you next time on ETV Live.
Network. Join 5,000 plus other listeners where you can hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV Live, sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.